Good evening, televiewers. Welcome to Prime Hour, a Prime Hour dedicated to the end of year address by the President of the Republic, His Excellency President Paul Biya, to the nation. A speech that is awaited by many Cameroonians, to a speech that is also considered as a way for the President of the Republic to give a balance sheet on what happened in 2020 and a way forward for the coming year 2021 that is going to be starting in under 5 hours time. We are going to comment anticipating what the President may say. We are going to relay live the address to the nation by the President of the Republic, and after which we are going to make our analysis from our studios out here, to also give our opinions as to what the President of the Republic must have said to Cameroonians. We are awaiting most of our panelists, but already in the studio with us is Professor Mark Anthony, a regular panelist with us. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Leo, and good evening to everyone watching us out there. And precisely to Esther in Yaoundé, who has been a fervent fan of this particular channel, and to all those who are expecting to enter 2021 with a different view and a different perspective. We expect that this evening, as we'll be analyzing the speech of the President as well as commenting on what he would have said, you are going to be actually making plans on how to face the year. And I want to believe that 2021 is going to be better than this 2020, but believe me, every year is the same except for what you do with that year.
2019, many people thought that 2020 was going to be better, but 2020 has been particularly difficult for the entire globe, for starting with China, Europe, America, that is still struggling. As we speak, most of these countries are under lockdown. Africa has also had this very fair share, with many business persons unable to move around to engage in different business ventures.
That is very, very, very right, Mr. Leo. A lot of persons had a different mindset concerning 2020, but as we can remember, it all started with COVID-19. which changed everything, caused the year to become the most challenging in its content. And as I earlier said, I said every year is the same, but what we do with it, it is possible that we had COVID-19, but the manner in which different people manage the year is actually what makes the difference between the various individuals in it. But generally speaking, 2020 has not been an easy year because it was made up of different kinds of challenges. In Cameroon precisely, we had the Boko Haram situation in the north, we had the COVID-19 that came up, we had the Anglophone crisis, the war that is taking place in the northwest and southwest. That is enough to destroy everything that somebody was planning to actually build. The visions and dreams of individuals were shattered because they were not foreseeing this kind of year. But as I want to conclude in this by saying that it is not what happened in the year, but what you did with what happened in the year that matters a lot. That is what makes the difference, Mr. Leo. What you do and what you did with what happened within the year. Because a lot of people just hung up the globes, and some of them threw away the towel with the baby in the bath, and that's how the year ended with many. But some persons, I will be sincere to tell you, took the challenge and transformed the year to become something that they never expected. It gave them what nobody expected to give. So I believe that individuals have suffered in this year, and some, as we are talking, were not able to see this end of the year. Some died along the path because of the challenging nature of the year. I want to say that in Cameroon, this is one of the years that we have experienced more deaths. I want to believe so.
Okay. Yeah, Cameroon also has had its first a very difficult year. What are some of the expectations that you have personally from what the president may be telling the nation this evening?
Okay, in relation to my diagnosis from what I think that the president might be saying, I want to believe that the president will come up. One of the main things that will be in his speech is going to be the COVID-19. He's going to be speaking about it and how we should prepare to face 2021. He's also going to be talking about job creation, which is going to be one of the things that I think should be focused to the youth. He's supposed to be talking to the youth and in relation to job creation and how they can face 2021. And apart from that, I'm also looking at the fact that he might mention the crisis in the Northwest, just mention it, because it's not going to be a center pick in his
Why?
I don't think it's going to really be center, because for the past years, when we expected him to speak when the thing was at the peak, when the crisis was at its peak, he never really gave any time for it. He made mention and he passed. And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen. Because
what do you mean by he made mention and passed?
Yes, you and I, we know from.
Was it not during? Was it not 2 years ago during his end of year speech that he spoke some minutes about that, and said that he understands the problems that Cameroonians are facing, and he went further to condemn violence from both sides, and said that he's calling on those who have taken up arms. He's offering them an olive branch, and those who have dropped their weapons now find themselves in DDR centers.
Mr. Liu, yeah. I will not still change what I said. He spoke in passing. It was not the center subject of his speech that day, because during that particular period of time, we expected that it would become the center, the main subject, but it was not. Because I want to believe that as the leader of the nation, he didn't look at it like something that should become a distraction towards the goal that he had for the year. And he focused on his goal. And he placed before us what he expected that should happen. But he mentioned the situation, the crisis, and like you mentioned, raised an olive branch for people to fall
drop their weapons. Yeah.
Yes, that was not the core of his speech.
Yes, but when you say you want the President of the Republic, to focus on the Anglophone crisis, he's addressing the nation. The nation is made up of 10 regions. It is also made up of 52 divisions with many happenings in the nation, like the number of persons who died recently in the West region. We know of the current situation in the East region, with the desertion of some Central African Republic soldiers who moved into Cameroon, and knowing that there are rebels at the borders. We know the situation up north. We know the situation in other parts of the social tensions that came up in Saint-Melima amongst Cameroonians. We know of the forest issues that happened in the South region. We know of COVID-19. Yes, the nation is faced with lots and lots of things.
That's very true, Leo. And I will still repeat it. It is not, in my opinion, that the president should focus precisely on the Northwest and end his speech on that. No. But I believe that that particular crisis has been one of the main reasons why Cameroon is suffering from the situation, the economic situation in which it's suffering right now. I'll be sincere in saying that I don't know whether the president is going to come and tell us that our GDP has increased, but from every indication, Cameroonians have been suffering economically. And the main reason is because of the war in the Northwest and in the Southwest.
And not because of COVID?
COVID-19, if you look at the way the COVID-19 situation was handled in Cameroon, it seems as if it doesn't even exist. Because there was a particular period of time where the president gave lockdown. In fact, everything was locked down. Then it didn't take long, he came up and lifted up some of those measures, asking people who have bars to open them up, asking businesses to go operational, asking. So when you look at it, it seems as if the COVID-19 situation did not even exist. So the main thing that has been a hindrance to Cameroonians economically is the war in the northwest and the southwest. Boko Haram had been in existence, I think, since 20, if not 15. It has been there, but it did not cause the havoc that the crisis in the northwest and southwest has created. We are suffering right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that over 500,000 people being displaced from the northwest into the other sections of the nation, is that something that should be taken light? No. So I think that that is supposed to be a topic that should be discussed. Struggling, not just talking about it, but giving a go-ahead, a way out of the situation. How do we come out of this crisis? How can we solve the problem? I think that should be one of the things that should be discussed. But as I said, I am doubting if the president is going to put that in his discussion this evening to the nation. And I will not stop there, but I would want to say that I also see another aspect of his discussion. He might be talking on trying to get to foreign investors to come to invest in Cameroon in order to create more jobs for Cameroonians. And also considering the fact that Cameroon is one of the signatories to the African Continental Free Trade Area, he might want to mention it to use it as a means to tell Cameroonians we are entering into a season where there will be free trade amongst Africans. So they should be prepared to face that particular challenge and to be able to know that they have to give something also. So I think that is going to be some of the things. Those are going to be some of the things we'll be discussing on this evening, Mr. Liu.
Okay.
If I actually saw well.
If you saw well, but this year we had regional elections now.
Yes.
And finally we have had the elections of the executive, regional executive. Is that not going to be a plus to what the president will say today, to say that, oh, we have been talking about decentralization, finally it is here, and I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy.
Yes, Mr. Leo, I think that's going to be a praise subject. He's going to be learning himself about that achievement. Finally, we've actually been able to establish the decentralization, or say regionalism as it might be called. And right now we are on the foot to see things work. That is going to be one of the things he's going to praise himself for having accomplished.
Okay, we are going to take a short break. We're coming right back after this break. You are on Prime Hour on my media Prime, dedicated to the end of year address by the President of the Republic of Cameroon, His Excellency President Paul Biya, as he certainly is going to paint a picture of how the 2020 here went, and probably giving us a direction as to how 2021 is going to look like. We have just been joined by Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, National President of the Reform Party. Good evening. We are glad to have you with us.
Good evening, Leo. Good evening, Prof. Good evening, televiewers. Nice to have you on the last day of the
of the year.
2020.
It's been a good year for the Reform Party and Cameroon as a whole.
Reform Party, yes, but Cameroon as a whole, no. We're still at war. The nation is still at war and is suffering under the ill effects of COVID-19. So it hasn't been a good year for Cameroon. Economic crisis, sanitary crisis, the war. No. It has not been good at all for Cameroon. Anyway, we hope 2021 will be a better year.
Okay, it's just COVID-19 that made the situation more difficult, and the Anglophone crisis.
Oh yes,
we have been in the crisis for this the fifth year.
Before the Anglophone crisis came, there was this long-standing economic crisis that has been going on for more than 30 years. And you see, the Anglophone crisis just made things worse, and COVID-19 further worsened the situation.
Some burning issues that you think the president will be looking at this evening. But those of you who are watching, please, if you think there are some expectations that you think the president may address, just write to us so that we can share together. Yes, Universal.
Burning issues. Well, we are used to seeing the president make a rundown of his activities. In this year, we have done this, we have done that, we have done that. So we are used to that. I expect some chest pounding. That is normal for somebody who has been he's been in power for close to half a century. I mean, we expect it's normal for him to pound his chest. So I expect that. I also expect him to chip in just a word, because he's not used to talking much on the Anglophone crisis. He will chip in just a word. But I would like him to talk about the rebels who are attacking from the east, because that's something that has deprived me of sleep for some days. And I want him to address that issue. Let him address that issue. And I will be the happiest man if he were to address the issue of dialogue between the two states of Cameroon.
When you say addressing rebels attacking, rebels are attacking within the Central African Republic?
No, Cameroon. We saw Cameroon. They seized an armored car. Except you want to tell me that the pictures we're seeing were false?
Those were seized from the regular Central African Republic.
At Garwabulai? Garwabulai is not Central Africa.
Yeah, because I know that what happened at Central African Republic is that the regular military of the Central African Republic was overrun by the rebels, and they moved into Cameroon and are under military custody in Cameroon. More than 100 of them. If that is the
Central African Army, okay. Yeah. But
those guys
they crossed into Cameroon territory and took an armored car. I don't know. You say I was very disturbed. I thought that was Cameroon's armored car.
No, they moved into Cameroon. Yes, more than 100 of them, and I'm sure they were disarmed. Regular military. They were overrun by the rebels. And we saw a video of the rebels that were discussing with a Cameroonian colonel, a commissioner of police, and the rest, who told them that this is not your territory. You people stay that way. We saw a discussion amongst the two. But you think that the president should speak more on the Anglophone crisis this time around?
Oh yes, I expect him to go a mile further and talk about the negotiations that everybody is calling for. Because this war, after 4 years, we all know that it cannot be won militarily. It only lead to more bloodshed, more destruction, more problem, more hardship, more undue hardship on the part of the population.
Yeah, but are you not also expecting the president to talk more on what the hint he gave Mo Ibrahim in Paris?
Well, I expect him to say something about the African Championship that's about to start. Mo Ibrahim, no, I don't think that's.
It was during his discussion with Mo Ibrahim where he said that they have been struggling to assimilate in Paris.
You think he will want to repeat that?
No, to give more.
I don't think so. I don't expect him
to understand how the process was.
Yeah, I will be surprised if he does. I will be surprised if he does bring that topic, because I think many of his colleagues collaborators were very uneasy with that. So I don't expect him to come back on it. But I think he will say something about the African
regional
elections.
Regional elections did not take place. The regional elections effectively took place, and we have the regional councils elected already.
Yes, I said here, I expect some chest pounding because that is supposed to be his trump card.
Yeah,
okay.
He praised himself over that.
Now, municipal and parliamentary elections also took place early this year. You think that the president is going to appreciate the ELECAM and the democratic advancement of the democratic process in Cameroon?
Yes, Mr. Liu, is like I earlier said, it is but obvious that the president is going to come up to praise himself and his government for what they have been able to accomplish within the year. There was an election that was hitch-free, that took place without any form of, should I say, destabilization. There was no destruction, no distraction, no instability that came along with it. And apart from that, you saw the election of the regional councillors and now the regional executive. So it is but obvious that the president should come up and mention it, showing you that these are some of the achievements that the government has been able to achieve for the past year. Haven't wasted more than 24 years without being able to execute the constitutional provisions that we expected that should have been executed. Today it has been done. So that progressive accomplishment has been realized like we're expecting. So it is but obvious that he should speak about it. So expect more to be said concerning these particular regional elections and the past parliamentary and municipal election that took place. Much will be said about it, but that will be in relation to the senior barrister said, chest pounding. He's going to be praising himself on that. And Mr. Leo, you mentioned the issue of the crisis. Maybe some people are not seeing the effects of the crisis in the northwest and southwest. They are not seeing how people are suffering. I think that if the president doesn't really take time to talk about it and the way out of it, then that would mean that he actually does not recognize what is happening over there. And that also will be a way of endorsing a kind of more bloodshed. So I think that the president will say something about that, and if he speaks about it, then that will be one of the best things that would have happened today. We expect that he should speak categorically about it, show a way out of it, and say, okay, within the next few days we'll be doing this and this and this to come out of that particular situation. I think that should be that would be what I would expect him to say.
Okay, we saw traits of tribalism, outright tribalism in Cameroon. People from the western region were attacked around Saint-Malima in the south region. We've seen a rise in the attacks between what we call the Anti-Sardinard and the Tontinard. We've seen the Northeast who are regrouping themselves under the banner of 10 million, 10 million, the Northeast, and a host of other. You're watching Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We are going to continue our discussions, anticipating what the President of the Republic is going to be telling Cameroonians this evening. We have been joined by my panelists, Kedia Malamfi Robert is representing the CPDM in this edition of the program. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Greetings to my co-panelists and greetings to all Cameroonians that are watching us. Sorry for the late coming. The programming came late. The head of state, the president of the republic, will be talking to peace-loving Cameroonians on the way forward of our country. We all know his speech. He always explained the achievement and bring out the problem that the state has encountered during the period of 1 year and the plans to move ahead forward. And most of his achievements, he will say them with regards to social security and workers and how everything has been harmonized, the retirement age and the employment that have been created. And secondly, he will talk about definitely the difficulties that the country has faced during with the handling of the COVID-19. We all know that Cameroon handled it very well. Different countries in Africa are facing the second phase of the COVID-19, but Cameroon is there managing it very well. So those are some of the achievements that we've really gotten during this period. And most importantly, the crisis going on in the northwest and the southwest region. We have a high level of achievement with regard to bringing peace in the northwest and southwest. We all know that everything is getting under control as compared to 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. And the final phase of respecting the Constitution of 1996, effective decentralization, all the institutions have been put in place to ensure that there is effective decentralization, and most importantly, the special status which was granted with regards to decentralization, where we have an independent public conciliator, which will be proposed by the regional house. They will give 3 names to the head of state, and the head of state from
in a process that is going to be initiated by the representative of the head of state.
Yeah, then they bring out 3 names. That's why we have the difference between appointing and nomination. They'll bring 3 names, which is they'll present to the head of state, and the head of state will now choose one among the 3 names, meaning that the head of state is not imposing anybody but choosing from the proposal of the people. That is what we call appointment, and not that is what we call nomination, and not direct appointment. And that will be the final phase.
You say a proposal of the people?
We, as the regional house, they have been elected by the people, right?
Yeah,
the councillors are elected.
But the process is initiated by the representative of the state. That's the governor.
No. It is being done. The governor, the president of the house. There are people that come out. They propose. It's not just one person. The head of the regional house, the regional bureau, they'll come together, sit, then they propose 3 names to the head of state, and the head of state will now choose one from their proposal that will make it a nomination rather than an appointment. And we are hoping to get somebody that have moral rectitude, somebody that is free from any judicial pursuit or any other aspect, so that we can complete this phase of the special status that have been granted to the northwest and southwest. We are waiting for those that will be proposed. We expect that they bring the proposed people, engineers that will be able to work a lot with regard to the construction of roads, or lawyers, or people that really have a powerful profession that is needed by the people of the northwest and the southwest region.
Good evening, Liu and your panelists. I am expecting the president to address the nation, this time in English, to defend the bilingualism commission. Charles is writing from Tico. Is that what we expect from the president? Do you see the president addressing the nation in English today? Alex Ngepi.
Bonjour, bonsoir à ceux qui sont là au milieu de ce que nous suivons ce soir. Il faut dire que pour l'instant, on va voir ce que le président va dire ce soir. Mais nous n'allons pas grand-chose, car nous sommes conscients qu'il va vanter les mérites de la lutte de la Covid-19. Il va vanter le progrès des élections régionales qui ont eu lieu tout récemment. Il va vanter quelques bilans économiques qui pour nous paraît désastreuse, mais qui pour lui sera une bonne chose. Il va venir peut-être sur le taux d'emploi au Cameroun qui aurait augmenté selon lui. Donc personnellement, on attend voir. Nous sommes habitués à ce discours depuis 38 ans. Donc, oui,
oui, mais la personne qui écrit depuis Tico, il dit que son souhait est de voir le président de la République adresser les Camerounais en anglais. Je ne sais pas, pour encourager la commission de bilinguisme, non?
Bon, il faut dire que il n'a pas obligation de s'exprimer en anglais. Hein. D'abord, il n'a pas obligation, mais ce serait une bonne chose déjà de s'exprimer en anglais, afin de montrer que voilà que le Cameroun n'est pas parfaitement bilingue, que lui, le président de la République, Paul Biya, il est bilingue. Ce serait une très bonne chose. Peut-être aussi, ça pourrait aussi permettre de calmer certaines vérités. Du côté du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest, ce ne serait pas mauvais s'il pouvait s'exprimer en anglais, mais vous savez, connaissant l'homme Biya tel qu'on le voit sur le plateau, tel qu'on le voit gouverner, ce serait pas du tout, ce serait impossible qu'il s'exprime en anglais. Il va faire son discours en français comme d'habitude et après il y aura une traduction en anglais.
Okay, Eli, we keep an eye on what's happening at the level of Yaoundé so that we get connected immediately. The speech is on. Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, we have seen the tensions, also socio-political tensions, especially politically, looking at the situation of militants of the CRM who were recently arrested and the call for the September 22nd protest a march to oust the president and a host of others. You think the president is going to say something in the light?
Well, I expect him definitely to say something about it, but most importantly, I think after having decided to let go prosecution against the head of CRM, I expect him to order the release of all those who were detained as a result of those protests. Because it doesn't serve any purpose keeping militants prosecuting militants when you cannot prosecute the head. So since he has dropped charges against the head, he should as well order the release of all those who were arrested.
And by extension also on
all other political prisoners.
And those involved with the Anglophone crisis.
Political prisoners. They are all political prisoners.
Okay. You think that he may have a word to say to the diaspora?
Well, I said I expect him to say something about the negotiations that we all expect. We all think that negotiation is going to be the solution to the ongoing crisis. So he should say something about it and stop prolonging the people's agony.
Okay, Senior Barrister Ashu, why can you not for once be optimistic? I think it will be a great speech. I expect him to talk about peace and reconciliation. My name is Pius Nkifwe. I'm following you live from Kumba. You think?
Thank you, but I don't think I said something different from him.
Yeah. Yesterday we talked about the need for reconciliation, forgiveness in Cameroon. You think the president may suggest something in the line?
It would be something great if he does that. But asking me if I think he's going to say something about that or say something in the like, I might not want to take that particular part because the president believes that in relation to what he has been told, that the situation in which we are facing right now in Cameroon is under control. Like I just heard Robert mention it, that is actually getting under control, but more persons are still dying and the situation of the economy is under devastation. I think that it is very necessary that the president comes up and hold this thing and speak on it. If he's going to talk about reconciliation, that will be one of the best things that will be done. Why? Because if Cameroonians are going to see progress, then there is need for us to reconcile in various directions. Earlier you mentioned something, Mr. Liu, concerning the situation that happened in Sang Malima a couple of months back, where the Bulus and the Bamli case had a situation that's tribalism at work, and we have been hearing of the Untitled and the Sardinards, all those divisions that we find in the nation, and you hear of the Anglophone crisis, as they call it. I think that the nation is in a state where we need total reconciliation. But like some persons always say that there is no reconciliation without justice, I would like to also want to say there can't be actual any true justice without love. So what we need is love. Love and meet ourselves. If Cameroonians can go to that place where we can start loving one another, then we would have.
Are you saying that the president should order for love?
I am saying that the president should speak and ask Cameroonians
to love one another.
See love as the center core, because love is what will make the difference.
Yeah, but talking about reconciliation and peace would require the announcement of a commission that would work for peace, reconciliation in the country.
That is very true. It is necessary. Why I spoke about love is because unless we see that from that light, there is not going to be any true reconciliation. Yes, commissions can be set up, but unless Cameroonians have it in heart to do.
Is that what you are saying? We want the president to declare that people should love
I am
themselves?
saying it, but I also am praying that the president should bring it up. If that happens, there's going to be a lot of changes. Mr. Leo, you just spoke about commissions. If there is a reconciliation commission that is set up, it will be good. But the question we'll be asking is, how many commissions have been set since the commencement of this particular situation that has finally degraded into a full-blown war?
No, but this commission is created with a mission to
end the war. Many other commissions have been created to end it. Like, for example, we have the DDR that was created purposely to end this particular war.
No, to receive those who are dropping their
but
weapons.
That's a means to end it. They believe that by showing that green olive tree, a leaf, a lot of people abandon their arms and find their way into the DDR camps and war will end. But sincerely speaking, that is not possible, Mr. Liu. So we are asking that the government should not only set commissions, but let the government take strategies that will be able to solve the problem.
Yes, Cameroon is plagued by different crises at different levels. Robert Malamfe, in 2013 end-of-year address to the nation, the president actually chastised his collaborators, asking why there was no collaboration. There was inertia in the system, and things seemingly have not changed a bit, or to some greater extent. Do you think he may remind ministers to redouble their efforts?
You see, we have ministries, and every minister has his own effort that he or she put in the ministry to ensure that things change. We have the Minister of Women Empowerment that have bring out law with regards to family inheritance and the rest to ensure that problems at that level are being solved. We have the Minister of Secondary Education, Alova Lyonga, that came in and ensured that the rate of corruption in schools is being reduced, and said let school administrators manage school activities and let microfinance take care of school fees, thereby reducing. So every minister is putting his own effort in his own way. It is also true that we've had some lapses that some ministers will go contrary maybe to the Prime Minister or what, but we know that at the end the Prime Minister always gives his order and is the final head, and he's been respected. Everything is in progress. We ensure, we pray, we are supposed to have positive mind that the changes should take place progressive when the head of state complain. We should understand that we are working with human beings that have their own perspective.
But do you think he may call them to order?
He has always been calling them to order through the minister, through the Prime Minister, and that's the management of personnel. It's not necessarily coming to TV station, coming on live end of year to do that. We've been seeing sanctions do happen at the ministerial level, even though they don't publish it to citizens to see. So those are the things we should also know.
Okay.
And to go further, my co-panelists that talked about formation of commissions. Each commission have its own agenda. The DRC center that are being created, we should not forget that it's not only for the Northwest and Southwest. They are also created in the North region, where we've seen members of the Boko Haram have dropped their arms and joined citizens. Most of them even that dropped their arms went to the center, have been rehabilitated, and they're in the society now. And I would really like to applaud the DRC, the centers in the Northwest and the Southwest region, especially those of the Southwest region, where we have majority of people from BrigadeAntiSardinard that have dropped their arms, accepted peace, and the market now in the central market in BrigadeAntiSardinard is actually functioning very well. So these are the things we should appreciate, that the government is really working very well, and those are things that we should accept, because the main thing we have in this country is that people don't accept. They tend to criticize only the wrong ones in their perspective, but they don't appreciate those that the government is doing its possible best to ensure that things move very well. It is also true that we've had problem of tribalism in our country, and I believe a law has been put with regards to tribalism and hate speech, and that is why when a chief came up in the Southwest region and said certain things, that people went on social media and lambasted him, gave their view. We saw the Prime Minister calling him to order, and he came publicly in a video and apologized to all Cameroonian and accepted people of the Northwest region so that things can move, and he apologized for calling them Tam No Go. So those are the things that we should appreciate the Prime Minister and everything they are doing to ensure that there's collaboration.
Il y a les militants du MRC qui sont fermés au moment où nous parlons. Vous croyez qu'il est aussi temps de crisper la tension politique dans le pays?
Bon, disons que on devrait s'attendre de manière naturelle que le président de la République, de fait, Paul Biya, qu'il demande qu'il y ait une amnistie. Pas une amnistie, parce que c'est un peu l'expression juridique utilisée. Dans ce cas-là, qu'il demande une grâce, qu'il offre une grâce présidentielle, peut-être, ou qu'il demande un abandon de poursuite, puisque ça en fait, puisque la grâce de reste survient quand vous avez été condamné. Mais quand vous n'êtes pas condamné, c'est un abandon de poursuite. Là, le pouvoir de le faire, et on s'attendrait naturellement à cela, qu'il demande...
Okay, we are going live to Yaoundé to follow the address to the nation by the President of the Republic, His Excellency, President Paul Biya.
Vous comprendrez, j'en suis sûr, que je commence ce message traditionnel en vous parlant de l'irruption sur notre planète de la pandémie du coronavirus. À cet égard, l'année 2020 restera certainement dans les mémoires comme une année sombre, marquée par des centaines de milliers de morts à travers le monde. Comme la quasi-totalité des pays, le Cameroun a été touché, peut-être moins gravement que d'autres États. Malgré nos efforts, le Covid-19 a endeuillé de nombreuses familles et provoqué de graves difficultés dans le fonctionnement de notre économie et de notre société. J'ai saisi cette occasion pour saluer de nouveau le dévouement de nos médecins, infirmiers et de façon générale de notre personnel de santé, grâce auquel de nombreuses vies ont pu être sauvées et continuent de l'être. Il est peut-être trop tôt pour essayer de tirer les leçons de ce douloureux épisode qui d'ailleurs se poursuit. Est-il nécessaire de rappeler que l'actuelle pandémie n'est pas la première et que l'histoire nous a appris que des épidémies ont anéanti des populations entières. La plus récente s'étant déclarée au lendemain de la Première Guerre mondiale. Faut-il y voir la responsabilité de l'homme, coupable d'exploiter sans modération les ressources naturelles de la planète et de se livrer sans cesse à des conflits générateurs de massacres et de maladies, ainsi qu'à des expériences pour développer des armes nouvelles. La question doit, je crois, être posée. Et quelle que soit la réponse, c'est le mérite de notre époque d'avoir clairement soulevé le problème de la relation entre l'homme et son milieu naturel. C'était, me semble-t-il, l'objectif de la conférence de Paris sur le réchauffement climatique, dont les recommandations restent d'actualité. Quoi qu'il en soit, nous ne devons pas pour autant dormir sur nos lauriers. J'ai personnellement constaté que la plupart de nos concitoyens ne respectent plus les mesures de protection édictées par le gouvernement. Au moment où, partout ailleurs, l'on constate une deuxième vague de l'épidémie, couplée à l'apparition d'une nouvelle souche du virus plus contagieuse, je vous exhorte de nouveau à porter vos masques, à vous laver régulièrement les mains et à faire appel à un médecin ou à tout autre personnel de santé au cas où des symptômes apparaissent. C'est le seul moyen de préserver les vies et de freiner la propagation du virus. Mes chers compatriotes, l'attention que nous avons dû porter à la situation sanitaire ne nous a pas empêchés de nous consacrer aux autres tâches essentielles liées à la gestion de notre pays, c'est-à-dire assurer la sécurité et la paix sur toute l'étendue de notre territoire national, consolider notre processus démocratique, enfin poursuivre la réalisation de notre programme de développement sur les plans économiques, social et culturel. Depuis quelques années, notre pays fait face à des menaces venant de l'extérieur, notamment à notre frontière orientale et dans la partie septentrionale de notre territoire. Dans le premier cas, il s'agit de bandits de grand chemin, attirés par des proies faciles que constituent les paisibles éleveurs et leurs troupeaux. Dans le second, ce sont désormais des raids isolés de Boko Haram ou des tentatives d'attentats suicides confiées à des adolescents. La vigilance et l'action efficace de nos forces de défense et de sécurité ont fait diminuer sensiblement les actes de ces criminels. La situation est différente dans nos régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest, où des groupes armés entretiennent un climat de terreur et d'insécurité. C'est ainsi que, périodiquement, ils attaquent des communautés isolées et également des établissements d'enseignement pour dissuader les parents d'y envoyer leurs enfants. La liste est déjà longue des exactions et des crimes qu'ils ont commis. L'un des plus odieux est celui qui a eu lieu récemment à Kumba et qui s'est soldé par la mort de 7 écoliers et des blessures infligées à plusieurs autres. Ce crime qui choque la conscience humaine ne restera pas impuni. Tous les coupables seront recherchés sans relâche et traduits devant la justice. D'ores et déjà, l'opinion publique, et particulièrement celle de nos deux régions concernées, peut se rendre compte, si ce n'est déjà fait, que ces soi-disant sécessionnistes ne sont en réalité que des assassins, et qui plus est, des assassins d'enfants innocents. C'est peu dire que la tuerie de Kumba a suscité l'indignation générale. C'est le moment pour moi d'en appeler une fois de plus à la responsabilité des pays amis qui hébergent les commanditaires et des organisations qui financent et animent par divers canaux les bandes armées dans les régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest. Tous ceux qui, au terme des enquêtes, seront identifiés comme donneurs d'ordre ou complices de ces crimes odieux devront répondre de leurs actes. Autant, notre gouvernement n'a jamais cessé d'apporter la preuve de sa volonté d'ouverture et de dialogue, en libérant par exemple de nombreux ex-sécessionnistes et en facilitant leur réinsertion dans la société. D'autre part, après la tenue du grand dialogue national, il a accéléré la mise en œuvre d'une ambitieuse politique de décentralisation qui comporte notamment, pour nos régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest, l'accession à un statut spécial tenant compte de leurs spécificités et de leurs aspirations. J'exhorte de nouveau à regagner les centres de désarmement, de mobilisation et réintégration DDR, afin de retrouver, comme leurs autres jeunes compatriotes, une vie normale. L'insécurité dans les régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest n'a que trop porté préjudice à notre pays. Notre démocratie permet l'expression pacifique de toutes les opinions, mais dans le respect des lois et règlements. Sinon, la paix et la stabilité seraient menacées. C'est le lieu de se féliciter de l'attitude patriotique de ceux de nos concitoyens du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest qui, non seulement coopèrent de plus en plus avec les forces de défense et de sécurité, mais aussi entreprennent de lutter courageusement contre ces bandes armées. Ils ont pris conscience que ces gens-là n'agissent pas dans l'intérêt des populations. Je voudrais également saluer ici la bravoure de nos forces de défense et de sécurité qui n'ont pas failli à leur devoir de protection de l'intégrité du territoire national, des personnes et des biens. Elles méritent le respect et la considération de tous. Je les encourage à persévérer et à demeurer une force républicaine respectueuse des droits humains. Par ailleurs, l'on doit regretter que quelques-uns de nos compatriotes, regroupés autour d'une personnalité dont les ambitions avaient été déçues lors de la dernière élection présidentielle, aient profité des difficultés sécuritaires et sanitaires pour tenter de susciter une insurrection, faussement appelée marche pacifique. Grâce à la maturité du peuple camerounais, ces marches ont heureusement été peu suivies. Est-il vraiment nécessaire de rappeler qu'en démocratie, l'accès aux responsabilités politiques est assuré par la voie des urnes et non par la rue, par certains médias ou par les réseaux sociaux. C'est précisément le cas au Cameroun, où le processus démocratique se déroule selon les dispositions de notre Constitution et selon les règles fixées par nos lois. La période récente en a donné un bon exemple. En mars 2018, le mandat des sénateurs est renouvelé. En octobre 2018, le chef de l'État est élu avec une très large majorité. En février 2020, des élections législatives ont lieu, assurant au gouvernement une majorité confortable à l'Assemblée nationale. À la même date, les élections municipales mettent fin au système de délégués du gouvernement dans les grandes villes, désormais gérées par des maires élus. En décembre 2020, les élections régionales viennent de compléter les dispositions prévues dans le processus de décentralisation. Ainsi se confirme chaque jour davantage notre volonté politique de mener à bien le projet démocratique répondant aux souhaits véritables du peuple camerounais, projet initié dès mon accession à la magistrature suprême et qui a conduit quelques années plus tard à l'institution du multipartisme. À ceux qui critiquent les imperfections de notre démocratie, je réponds que nous n'avons eu que quelques décennies pour la mettre en place. Les grands pays démocratiques, de leur côté, n'y sont parvenus qu'au terme de plusieurs siècles, marqués par des révolutions, des guerres civiles et même des épisodes de dictature. Pour ma part, je suis bien conscient de tout ce qui reste à faire, mais j'ai la conviction que nous sommes sur la bonne voie et que bientôt nous pourrons tous être fiers de nos avancées démocratiques. Mes chers compatriotes, il faut bien reconnaître que le contexte international, notamment la pandémie du coronavirus et la baisse de la croissance mondiale, n'a pas facilité la bonne tenue de nos finances publiques et de notre économie au cours de l'année qui s'achève. Tout en maintenant nos objectifs de croissance, nous avons dû prendre des mesures de consolidation budgétaire et de soutien à l'économie afin de passer le cap difficile et de rendre possible une politique de relance en 2021. C'est ainsi qu'il a été décidé de finaliser les projets qui concernent le championnat d'Afrique des Nations 2021 et la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations de football de 2022, de poursuivre la mise en œuvre des plans de reconstruction et de développement des régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest, ainsi que de l'extrême Nord. Malgré ces efforts, il est prévisible que notre taux de croissance, qui s'était stabilisé autour de 4% au cours des dernières années, subisse une nette érosion en 2020 et que l'inflation reparte légèrement à la hausse. L'impact du ralentissement de l'économie mondiale et l'évolution de notre situation nationale, notamment en ce qui concerne l'augmentation des dépenses de sécurité, y ont sans doute contribué. Néanmoins, il apparaît qu'en dépit des difficultés, l'économie camerounaise a conservé une certaine capacité de rebond. grâce à l'appui de nos partenaires internationaux et dans l'hypothèse d'un recul de la pandémie, il est alors permis de penser qu'une reprise est possible dans les mois à venir. Dans cet esprit, je voudrais maintenant appeler votre attention sur le lancement récent de notre stratégie nationale de développement, SND, qui remplace le document de stratégie pour la croissance et l'emploi, DSCE, arrivé à son terme. La stratégie nationale de développement définit les grands axes de notre planification jusqu'en 2030. Ce document tire les leçons des expériences passées et fixe de nouveaux objectifs pour la décennie à venir, notamment une transformation structurelle de notre économie et un développement inclusif. Il conviendra donc de passer à la vitesse supérieure pour lutter contre la pauvreté, le chômage et la persistance du secteur informel. Il faudra également s'efforcer d'atteindre un taux de croissance de 8% en procédant à une transformation structurelle de notre économie et en améliorant l'efficacité de la dépense publique. Ainsi, nous conserverons toutes les chances de parvenir à l'émergence à l'horizon 2035. Bien entendu, nous poursuivrons par ailleurs la mise en œuvre de notre politique de développement social qui a été définie au début du septennat en cours, qu'il s'agisse de l'emploi des jeunes, de l'éducation, de la santé et de la famille. Telles sont, mes chers compatriotes, les grandes lignes de l'action que, malgré les difficultés, le gouvernement s'est employé à mettre en œuvre au cours des derniers mois et qu'il va poursuivre dans les prochaines années. Celles-ci seront cruciales pour notre marche vers l'émergence. J'ai la conviction que nous pourrons atteindre nos objectifs à condition que nous acceptions de faire les efforts nécessaires et d'entreprendre les réformes indispensables. Camerounaises, Camerounais, mes chers compatriotes, l'année qui s'achève n'a pas été une année facile. Nous avons dû relever de nombreux et importants défis. Nous devons rester, comme par le passé, unis et déterminés. Le peuple camerounais a toujours montré qu'il était à la hauteur des enjeux qui le concernent. Il faut s'en féliciter. Bonne et heureuse année à toutes et à tous. Vive la République, vive le Cameroun. Camerounaises, Camerounais, mes chers compatriotes.
Fellow Cameroonians, my dear compatriots, I am convinced that you understand why I am beginning this traditional message by talking about the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic on our planet. In this regard, 2020 will undoubtedly be remembered as a dark year marked by hundreds of thousands of deaths worldwide. Like almost all countries, Cameroon was affected perhaps less severely than other states. Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society. I take this opportunity to hail once more the dedication of our physicians, nurses, and health personnel as a whole, thanks to whom many lives have been and continue to be saved. It is perhaps too early to draw lessons from this painful episode, which, moreover, is continuing. Needless to recall that this pandemic is not the first, and history has it that epidemics wiped out entire populations, the most recent occurring in the wake of the First World War. Should man take the blame because of his wanton exploitation of the planet's natural resources and his constant engagement in conflicts leading to massacres and diseases, as well as experiments to develop new weapons? I believe the question needs to be asked. Whatever the answer, our era should take credit for clearly posing the problem of the relationship between man and his natural environment. This was, I believe, the objective of the Paris Conference on Global Warming, whose recommendations are still relevant today. In any case, we should not rest on our laurels. I have personally observed that most of our fellow citizens no longer comply with the protective measures prescribed by the government. At a time when everywhere else there is a second wave of the epidemic coupled with the appearance of a new and more contagious strain of the virus, I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus. My dear compatriots, our focus on the health situation did not prevent us from devoting ourselves to other essential tasks related to the management of our country, namely maintaining security and peace throughout our national territory, strengthening democratic process, and pursuing our economic, social, and cultural development program. In recent years, our country has been facing external threats, particularly on our eastern border and in the northern part of our country. In the first case, the threat comes from highway robbers lured by easy prey, namely peaceful stock breeders and their herds. In the second, the threat now takes the form of isolated raids by Boko Haram or suicide bomb attempts by teenagers. The effective vigilance and action of our defense and security forces have significantly reduced the activities of these criminals. The situation is different in the northwest and southwest regions, where armed groups maintain an atmosphere of terror and insecurity. They attack isolated communities and educational institutions from time to time to discourage parents from sending their children to school. The list of atrocities and crimes committed by these groups is already long. One of the most heinous of them is that which took place in Kumba recently, resulting in the death of 7 school children with several others injured. This crime, which is a shock to the human conscience, will not go unpunished. All the perpetrators will be hunted down relentlessly and brought to justice. Already public opinion, particularly in the 2 regions concerned, can realize, if that is not yet the case, that these so-called secessionists are actually nothing more than murderers and, what is more, murderers of innocent children. To say that the Kumba carnage caused widespread outrage is an understatement. I would now like to appeal once more to the sense of responsibility of the friendly countries hosting the sponsors and of the organizations financing, running the armed gangs in the northwest and southwest regions through various channels. All those who would be identified at the end of investigations as initiators or accomplices of these odious crimes will answer to their actions. Yet, our government has continued to demonstrate its commitment to openness and dialogue by, for example, releasing many former secessionists and facilitating their reintegration into society. Furthermore, after the major national dialogue, the government fast-tracked the implementation of an ambitious decentralization policy, which includes a special status for our northwest and southwest regions, which takes into account their specificities and aspirations. I once more urge the youth who have been enlisted in armed gangs to come out of the bush and sign up with the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration DDR centers in order to return to a normal life like their other young compatriots. The prevailing insecurity in the northwest and southwest regions has caused untold damage to our economy. Our democracy allows for the peaceful expression of all opinions in compliance with the laws and regulations in force. Otherwise, peace and stability would be jeopardized. I hail the patriotic spirit of those of our fellow citizens in the northwest and southwest regions who are not only increasingly cooperating with the defense and security forces, but are also courageously fighting these armed gangs. They have realized that these gangs are not acting in the interest of the people. I would also like to commend here the bravery of our defense and security forces that have not failed in their duty to protect the integrity and the national territory, the people and property. They deserve the respect and consideration of everyone. I encourage them to keep it up and to remain a Republican force that respects human rights. It is equally regrettable that some of our compatriots who rallied around a personality who failed to achieve his ambitions during the last presidential election took advantage of security and health difficulties to try to stir up a revolt falsely referred to as peaceful marches. Fortunately, very few people took part in these marches, thanks to the majority of Cameroonians. Needless to call that in a democracy, access to political office is secured through the ballot box and not through the street, certain media organs, or social media networks. This is precisely the case in Cameroon, where the democratic process is being conducted in accordance with the provisions of our Constitution and the rules laid down by our laws, as illustrated by the following recent happenings. In March 2018, the term of office of senators was renewed. In October 2018, the head of state was elected with an overwhelming majority. In February 2020, legislative elections were held, with the government securing a comfortable majority in the National Assembly. On the same date, municipal elections put an end to the system of government delegates in major towns, which are now managed by elected mayors. In December 2020, regional elections completed the implementation of the provisions of the decentralization process. Thus, with each passing day, our political will to implement the democratic agenda that is in the line with the genuine aspirations of the Cameroonian people is further strengthened, an agenda initiated upon by accession to the helm of state and which led a few years later to the institution of the multi-party system. To these who are criticizing imperfections of our democracy, I would like to say that it took us just a few decades to put it in place. The major democratic countries, for their part, did so only after several centuries marked by revolutions, civil wars, and even episodes of dictatorship. For my part, I am well aware of all that is still to be done. I am, however, convinced that we are on the right track and that soon we will all be proud of our democratic progress. My dear compatriots, it must be acknowledged that the international context, in particular the coronavirus pandemic and the decline in global growth, took a toll on the performance of our public finance and our economy during the year that is drawing to an end. While maintaining our growth targets, we had to take fiscal consolidation and economic support measures in order to weather these difficult times and enable the implementation of a recovery policy in 2021. Thus, a decision was taken to finalize African Nations Champions CHAN 2021 and African Cup of Nations AFCON in 2022 projects, and to continue to implement plans for the reconstruction and development of the Northwest, Southwest, and Far North regions. Despite these efforts, it is expected that our growth rate, which had stabilized at about 4% in recent years, will witness a sharp decline in 2020, and that inflation will inch up. This is undoubtedly due to the impact of the global economic downturn and our domestic economic trends, especially the increase in security spending. Nonetheless, Cameroon's economy has maintained a certain capacity to rebound despite the difficulties. Thanks to support from our international partners, and in the event of decline in the pandemic, there is reason to hope for recovery in the coming months. In the same vein, I would now like to draw your attention to the recent launch of our National Development Strategy, NDS, which replaces the Growth and Employment Strategy paper, GSP, that has come to an end. The National Development Strategy defines the main thrust of our planning up to 2030. The document draws lessons from past experiences and sets new goals for the next decade, notably the structural transformation of our economy and inclusive development. It will therefore be necessary to step up the fight against poverty, unemployment, and the lingering informal sector. It will also be necessary to strive to achieve an 8% growth rate by embarking on the structural transformation of our economy and enhancing the effectiveness of public spending. In so doing, we will put all the odds of achieving emergence by 2035 on our side. Naturally, we will also continue to implement our social development policy, which was defined at the start of the current 7-year term concerning youth employment, education, health, and the family. These, my dear compatriots, are the outlines of the action that the government has, despite the difficulties, strove to implement in recent months, and that it will continue to implement in the coming years, which will be crucial for our progress towards emergence. I am convinced that we will be able to achieve our objectives, provided that we agree to make the required efforts and to embark on the needed reforms. Fellow Cameroonians, my dear compatriots, the year that is ending has not been an easy one. We had to meet many major challenges. We must remain united and determined, like in the past. The Cameroonian people have always risen to the challenges facing them. We should be proud of this. Happy and prosperous New Year to you all. Long live the Republic, long live Cameroon.
Vive le Cameroun.
Merci à nos équipes au Palais de l'Unité qui nous envoient ces belles images de la présidence de la République ce 31 décembre 2020, le Palais de l'Unité, où le président Paul Biya vient de prononcer son message à la nation. Vous avez certainement remarqué, comme nous, ce décor frais, tonique et lumineux. Alors, de sources concordantes, il a été travaillé des jours durant dans le plus grand secret au cabinet civil de la présidence de la République. Bravo à tous ceux qui ont œuvré pour ce beau décor. Nous recevons...
Welcome back. You are watching Prime Hour on My Media Prime, where we are analyzing the address of the head of state speech to the nation end of year. Senior barrister, quite impressive address to the nation.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. I would have preferred to stay in my bed, because if you're talking about a speech, in fact, it was an opportunity for us to just watch a football match, because I had the impression that the head of state is talking. I mean, he's living in a different planet, in a different country. Well, you can hear him talk about the performance of his government. Oh well, we all know what the government has done, but I think he would have made something objective as an appraiser, instead of telling us that, well, this one was elected, this one was this, and then telling us that the problem in Northwest and Southwest regions that have been going on now for 4 years, all he could have to tell us is that it is a gang of, and it is armed gangs that are attacking villages. And you see, he talked of the criminals who attack Kumba, who killed the Kumba children, who will be brought to justice. I don't know whether, I may be mistaken, but to the best of my knowledge, there is no commission of inquiry that was created and that is at work, because it says at the end of the investigation, the culprits will be brought to justice. I know that the owner of the school and teachers are facing trial before the military tribunal, but which other investigation is going to bring us the culprits? And how do you bring culprits if he says that it is the armed gangs that are responsible? How do you bring to justice people who don't recognize your law? People you don't even have any way of arresting. They are there in their bushes. You don't have any way of arresting them. No, I think this type of speech, no. I have the impression the president is not living in this country. He must be living somewhere else. You see, even see why he talks about the people who were arrested on the 22nd of September. He just says some people who think that they can cause disorder. Oh well, that's true, but I expect him to tell us that for the purpose of making peace to reign, of social cohesion, it is nice to release all those who are being detained as a result of that incident, which finally, as he himself concedes, finally went to nowhere. He went to nowhere. So why are you keeping the people in prison? Release them, sir. The incident went to nowhere. We all know that it was a failure. Release the people just as you have decided not to prosecute their leader. So release all those people and release all political prisoners. It is not fitting of a nation like Cameroon that is deemed to be a democratic nation to have political prisoners. And we don't have political prisoners. Release them all, sir. We don't need them in prison. The motors and the rest, I don't know. What are they doing in prison? Release all of these people. Are you tapping them? If you know that, if you can have the guts to release, to pardon somebody who is an actual fighter, who kills people in the bush, they kill soldiers and kill population, why will you keep in prison somebody who is just an intellectual author? The most dangerous one is the one who actually kills. But you say, if any person proves that he's gone, they will not prosecute him. Those are the real killers. You pardon them. Then the people who were just intellectual, the people who only masterminded, I mean, they only masterminded the revolution, you say they should remain in prison. No, I don't think it doesn't make sense. Release all those people. Why not? I mean, some general amnesty. Even all these people who are in prison, we don't need to be filling the prisons with people. All these people who are in prison, sir, Mr. President, this is the end of the year. A new year is coming. Grant general amnesty. Let us empty those prisons and have a clean Cameroonian society that will move forward. We don't need to have a country with people in prison. We want development projects. You should have told us, okay, look, this is the Vuri Bridge. All the incidents we have been having on the bridge, you not told us anything. All the projects that we have, I expected him to talk about this, our hydroelectricity projects, the dams, the Merveillous and the White Elephant projects. That put so much money inside, but we are still having problems with electricity. Now, Mr. President, you ought to tell us what is happening with all this. You see, they say economy. The economy is fine. Which economy is fine? Since you created Limbe Deep Sea Port, sir, what work is going there? Is even one single caterpillar working there? No. Vote a budget, let that port be constructed. I mean, that is what we expect to hear of our president. That this year like this coming year, we are going to build the Limbe Deep Sea Port. We have created the authority to run the port. There's no port. So what is the authority going to run, sir? I think that would have made more sense for the president to tell us that this coming year, we are going to revamp CDC. That is down. Pamol. Sonara. Those are things that we expect you to tell us. We begin to talk of economic progress. Where is the progress? Economy and the documents. New documents created. No, sir. We want money. We want people to live in good health. People to enjoy economic boom. We don't want economy on paper. Then, I mean, new document to replace document de croissance and emploi. That one does not mean anything to Cameroonians. We are more interested in development projects, sir. Give us the green light. That will give us hope that 2021 will be a year better than 2020. Because in 2020, many Cameroonians were pulling the devil by the tail. So this year we think that this coming year we expect that things will be better. And that those things cannot be better if you, Mr. President, do not channel the monies to the right directions. We don't want any more white elephant projects. This time one project that can produce money. And we want employment for the youth. There are so many people who are unemployed. The IDPs. We want the government to put forth a program, a better program that will take charge of IDPs. We were here the other day, and there was this program in Njombe. These children who come from these children who ran away from Tombe side there, they were going to school, they had no uniforms. You see, the government should give us a better plan to take these children, to take care of these children and give them help so that they also go to school.
Your appreciation of the address, end of year address by the President of the Republic, Professor Mark Anthony.
Mr. Leo, like I said before the speech came up, I was practically expecting nothing but the praises that we heard that came up. I was expecting that in one way or the other, the president is going to speak, present a job creation directive, or in one way or the other speak to us concerning the various strategies that will see the 2035 emergence realized. But he mentioned it without actually giving us any vision. You know, we are entering into a new year, and we are expected to just walk into the year without any particular vision that would take us into the year. And that is what I didn't see in the speech, which is really not good. And when we go back looking at the speech of the president, his ideas he mentioned concerning the crisis in the Northwest, he has reduced it to an armed bandit issue. So in fact, he considered the situation to be a situation that has been, that's in fact just armed bandits who are coming to hit and run at particular times, and precisely in isolated areas. That's what he said. That is something that is disturbing, considering the fact that people are suffering and dying every day as we are talking. And not only the civilians and not only the armed, but also the military. I don't know if those militaries that are being killed every day are actually being killed by isolated bandits who are coming out. And those are some things that when we listen to them, it makes our hearts actually start beating, because I'm afraid that the president seems not to be in reality with facts on the ground. And so that being an issue that we are looking into, I think that the president should not really consider what is happening on the ground as we are seeing it. Okay, let's accept that things are getting down to normalcy, as it might be claimed, but to consider those, in fact, the entire issue as armed bandits alone is where there is a problem.
The president called for Cameroonians to respect anti-COVID measures, the wearing of masks, washing of hands.
That's another thing that I'm supposed to step into. You see, Mr. Leo, we believe that leadership is by example. We expect that there should be putting on of masks, which our president should be the first to do. Secondly, there should be also washing of hands, which is supposed to be something that we should do. It is not something that we should be informed of again. We already should be doing that on a practical basis daily. I do put my mask when I'm in the crowd with people. I do wash my hands always. It is necessary. But I don't think that that is all that we need to talk about concerning the COVID-19. COVID-19, in other nations there is lockdown, and before the lockdown takes place, there are measures that have been put in order to sustain the economy. In Cameroon, we don't have lockdown. But I am happy, considering the fact that, I don't know what I should use the word, it is the divine hand that is actually protecting and preserving Cameroonians and Africans as a whole from being attacked by this COVID-19 issue. Because if we were, if that was the situation, if we're like, okay, in Europe, because what I see in Europe, even with the measures and all the things, they are still being attacked. There seems to be something that is different with us Africans, which we should hail God for it, and say the president telling us to wash our hands and to put on masks. That has been something that a lot of people have actually neglected, which I would say they should keep on doing. They should. That was a good reminder by the president. But that is not enough to take Cameroon to 2035 as we expect. That will not carry Cameroon to the
Robert Malanfi, your appreciation of the end of your address of His Excellency President Paul Biya to the nation this day.
Firstly, I'm so happy to see him very strong and powerful, talking to all Cameroonians about how everything has been managed. At the level of the COVID-19, which he really hit on, who understand and say the truth that we all know, that COVID-19 really have hit other countries, and they have really devastated issue. When COVID-19 started in Africa, Cameroon was the second in the sub-Sahara, but we've seen other countries that have registered more death and loss of life as compared to Cameroon, showing that our health personnel are actually doing the best. And he went further to talk about Cameroonians respecting all measures being put in place, put on their masks, wash their hands. It is 100% true. When people, if someone say that the president is not leading by example, then the person is not honest. All the time President Paul Biya was out of his house, the Unity Palace that we saw him, he was putting on his face mask, even at the burial of his own blood sister. So we should be honest, and we should not say he has never put on a mask. He will be very, very dishonest when we give such information to Cameroonians. He always put on his mask, especially when he's in public. We've seen that many times. Secondly, he went further to talk about external aggression of countries, some foreign countries that are aggressing our nation, especially in the East region. We've seen that with the anti-Balaka forces, and we know what is actually happening there. And also to talk about the aspect of Boko Haram in the North region, which he congratulated the forces of order, law and order, to be able to maintain all this. And if we are honest, we know the problem of Boko Haram, how hard it was in Cameroon, and how our forces of law and order have worked further to ensure that there is peace in this our region, the East region and the Northern region. So we should be very, very honest to appreciate the president for saying things that are honestly true, and to support the forces, the military, for defending the integrity. Because what we say he has said nothing, no, he has appreciated the military for defending the integrity, which all of us Cameroonians, we are supposed to be grateful and support them. Because if the military was not in the north to protect Boko Haram, I believe everyone could have been having bombs, as we saw at the beginning. So we should also appreciate that. At the level of the northwest and southwest region, the president was very, very clear when he said a group of bandits. And if anybody come here to say it's not right to say a group of bandits, then the person is not honest, because he said in his speech that Amber fighters or separatist fighters should drop their arms, meaning that he recognized that they are the real Amber fighters that are fighting, and they should drop their arms and go to the DRC center. But he talked about the group bandit, which we all know that kidnap people for ransom. Are we now saying that all those kidnapping are not bandits? We should be open and clear when we are analyzing things to Cameroonians. We know that we have group bandits that are there, that kidnap people, that rape people, collect money from people, do extortion. We all know that. So if we say him talking about group of bandits that are there is not correct, then we are being dishonest when we are talking to the Cameroonian people, because we know there exists group bandit. And when he went further to talk about separatist fighters, that they should drop their arm and be received at the DRC center, those that will not do it will be arrested and they will report to justice. That is a clear statement. You have to drop your arm. Fine, if you drop your arm, you are pardoned. If you don't drop your arm, you are arrested, you answer to justice. Then we'll also go further. Senior barrister said something here that I don't have his level in law is very, very powerful than my own. I would not like to compare with him, but I'm just so disturbed when he said those that pick up arms and kill people are being freed, and those that are in prison are there. And sorry, if you influence somebody and you cause that person to do or commit a crime, you yourself, you are the head of that crime. Because if you did not influence those people, they wouldn't have carried up those guns. So we should be honest. I'm not a lawyer, but I have an idea with that if you encourage somebody to go and steal, and the person goes and steals, and that person is arrested flagrant delito, you that encourage him to go and steal, you are a criminal.
Okay.
So when we are saying that I am not saying that they should not be released, please.
Okay.
We are begging the head of state to because Cameroon is a state of law. We have all our arms of government, the judicial arms of government. They are carrying out their part of justice, and the president definitely may not like to intervene, but we are calling on him that he's the head of state. He has power to intervene to free political prisoners if at all they are one. Because when you go digitally, you realize that these guys have allegations and crimes that they have committed. So we should be honest when we are analyzing all these things. Our wish is that people should be freed, but we should not go into the nitty-gritty to say this one is this, that one is this one did not do anything, this one is better off than this. No, we should say that, please, head of state, we want peace. Can you please pardon all of them? Let's go ahead. Let's not give other people this. And that is the first aspect. I believe I will come to talk about the second aspect, which is the economic perspective, which nobody here is honest to talk about it, that the head of state actually spoke about it.
Okay. Happy New Year, Mr. Liu. Gentlemen, it's Janice Ambi. please, before we criticize the president's leadership, let's individually fit in his shoes. Good evening to you and happy New Year to you and to every other person watching this program this evening. Votre appréciation du message de fin d'année du président de la République.
Tantôt, comme je l'ai dit en entame de cette émission, il n'y avait rien à attendre du discours du président de la République de fête. Paul Biya, parce que nous avons dit qu'il devait revenir sur la Covid-19, il devait louer quelques progrès économiques selon le fictif du Cameroun, que le Cameroun aurait eu, c'est ce qu'il a fait. Donc il n'y avait rien à attendre. Vous avez vu que on a vu là un vieillard, quelqu'un qui est vieux, quelqu'un qui ne passe pas d'événements, quelqu'un qui n'est même plus en mesure de tenir la gouvernail du Cameroun. Il faut qu'on se le dise. Quand on est Camerounais, qu'on voit un individu comme ça être votre président, vous posez des questions. Comment a-t-on fait pour en arriver là? Et en tant que jeune Camerounais, homme politique, j'ai honte pour mon pays de voir les gens qui vont s'asseoir, qui vont valoriser une personne qui aurait dû aller se reposer avant Meka tranquillement, qui aurait dû être consulté pour des questions de sagesse, qui aurait dû être un patrimoine culturel dont nous avons besoin. Mais quand on fatigue, certaines personnes qui sont autour de lui veulent le fatiguer, veulent l'amener à exercer la fonction de présidence dont lui-même n'a pas besoin. Il a tout eu, il a tout donné pour le Cameroun. Le Cameroun lui a tout donné. Il serait grand temps que M. Biya pense sincèrement pour son état de santé, pour sa propre santé, pour sa santé, qu'il pense à se reposer. Nous sommes jeunes. Le monde va vite. Le monde va extrêmement vite. Qu'est-ce que M. Biya a à dire à Macron aujourd'hui? Est-ce qu'ils peuvent s'asseoir et discuter, parler des idées, parler des progrès économiques dont le peuple Cameroun a besoin? On parle de chômage, on parle d'avance économique. Voilà ce qu'on a besoin. On parle d'état de droit, on parle de liberté. Mais qu'est-ce que M. Biya va nous offrir? On devrait le consulter pour qu'il nous explique, qu'il nous parle de l'histoire, qu'il nous dise comment est-ce que le Cameroun a eu à faire pour avoir l'indépendance, qu'il nous parle de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Voilà où on a besoin de M. Biya, qu'il nous dise comment est-ce qu'il a été capturé. Oui, il serait important qu'il éduque nos enfants, nos petits-enfants, quand on va au village et qu'il prend nos enfants là, autour d'un tronc d'arbre et qu'il raconte l'histoire du Cameroun. Mais venir diriger le Cameroun, c'est une honte. On devrait avoir honte d'être Camerounais ce soir, de voir un papa comme ça, qu'on devrait laisser se reposer. On le fatigue parce qu'il y a des vautours autour de lui qui ne veulent pas comprendre que la jeunesse camerounaise a soif. Je suis un jeune Camerounais, monsieur Koum. Nous sommes tous des jeunes sur ce plateau. Est-ce que monsieur Biya peut s'asseoir ici et de parler des problèmes du Cameroun? Est-ce qu'il peut parler de justice au Cameroun? Non. C'est une honte, sincèrement. Nous espérons que ce discours-ci, qu'on vient d'assister, sera le dernier discours que nous assisterons. Nous espérons que M. Biya va comprendre qu'il est fatigué. Nous espérons...
On ne déclare pas, non? Il vous a dit que ça passe par le chemin des urnes.
Oui, il a bien dit, c'est vrai ce qu'il a dit. Mais cependant, M. Biya n'est pas passé par le chemin des urnes pour avoir le pouvoir en 82. Est-ce qu'il a été élu en 82? Non, je veux donc dire qu'il s'est contredit, parce qu'il est vieux. Quand il dit cela, est-ce qu'il a pris le pouvoir en 82, est-ce qu'il a été élu? Il n'est pas passé par le chemin des urnes pour être élu en 82. Donc venir dire cela aujourd'hui, c'est quand même une aberration. Et il a parlé de démocratie, il fait comprendre que le Cameroun, que les pays occidentaux, la France et tous ces pays occidentaux ont pris des siècles pour être des pays démocratiques. C'est faux. Mais c'est faux. La démocratie n'a droit en quelle année? Mais la démocratie vient des libertés individuelles, vient du libéralisme politique et économique. Mais les prémices de la démocratie viennent en quelle année? Mais dans les années 1600, avec Adam Smith. Mais elle est réellement pratiquée après 1900. Avant, on ne parle pas de démocratie en Europe. Mais même quand on parle de la Révolution française de 1989, il y a Napoléon qui vient avec une dictature. Ils ne sont pas démocrates. La démocratie s'installe en Europe, par exemple la France, que lors de la 5e République, comme pas de démocratie. Donc quand il vient nous dire que le Cameroun est un jeune État, c'est comme ce Cameroun est né hier. Je tiens à lui rappeler, je suis un Kamite moi, et que le Cameroun, les pays africains ont dirigé le monde, pas l'Égypte. Donc quand il vient insulter les Camerounais, sincèrement, il faudrait que les anthropologues, ceux qui sont autour de lui, puissent le conseiller, puissent dire à M. Biya que papa, vraiment, la fois dernière, il a eu à dire que le Cameroun a été colonisé par l'Allemagne. Alors qu'on a appris à l'école que le Cameroun n'a jamais été colonisé par l'Allemagne. Jamais. Mais c'est ce qu'il avait dit, que le Cameroun a été colonisé par l'Allemagne.
Okay,
Mais le Cameroun n'a jamais été... Donc, il est grand temps, Non.
Okay, please.
Le Cameroun n'a jamais été par l'Allemagne.
Please.
Donc, il serait grand temps que M. Biya comprenne qu'il fait trop d'erreurs, énormément d'erreurs,
Okay.
et qu'on puisse passer à autre chose.
Alex, let's move over to the Northwest region. The governor of the Northwest region, L'Afrique Chofo, took time off to follow the speech of the President of the Republic and his reaction.
Is for the population to mobilize and say enough is enough. If you have the mobilization of still confirmed to us that he's the peacemaker, calling to us that we are on a good path. Good path in the fight against the coronavirus, provided we continue to observe the barrier measures. Good path as far as the insecurity is concerned, provided the population continue like they are doing to give their support to the administration of the security forces, allowing them good path as far as the decentralization process is concerned. After the municipal elections, we have just rounded up with the regional election. That will implement the special suits that are awarded after the Major National Director of the Northwest region. We are expecting that the elected body will, from their sworn-in ceremony is soon going to be done, mobilize themselves to answer to the expectations of the grassroots population. We are also on a good path as far as the rebuilding process of the Northwest region is concerned. The procedure to connect the data of those that were victims has long started. And the year coming tomorrow will witness the start of the process, thanks to the mobilization of the nation, the state budget, and our partners. I can therefore answer to your question to tell you that yes, if the population continue to hit the core of the head of state, I need coming back from the bullshit, recycling themselves. Our population that have come elsewhere, coming back to the region to take care of the development of the region. Our traditional our elected body coming back to their various constituency funnels, aligning with the security forces, the administrative authorities, and other stakeholders, including the regional authority, to rebuild the Northwest region. It's clear that we are soon going to turn the page and open a new page. Okay, Mr. Governor.
Okay, that was the governor of the Northwest region, His Excellency L'Afrique Chofo, who was giving his reaction to the press after following the end-of-year address by the President of the Republic. Senior Barrister Shu Emmanuel, the President, also called on friendly nations that are hosting those that are considered as instigators of the violence ongoing in Cameroon to collaborate with the nation so that they can fish them out and to definitely stop what Cameroon is going through.
Mr. Leo earlier said it looks like the president is coming from a different planet because all what he said, you see, especially on this topic we are talking, looks like it does not follow current international affairs. The UN, the United States, Britain, the European Union, African Union, they have always asked him to address the root causes of this issue. They have all of them have asked him to address the root cause of the problem. Negotiate. They tell him negotiate, and he keeps saying all those Cameroonians in diaspora who are funding the secession, they are terrorists, and these countries have told him point blank they are not terrorists, they are nationalists. point blank. He insists on saying that they are terrorists, they should be arrested.
Yeah, so, but I remember recently Thibault Nash asked that those who are living in the diaspora and instigating violence in Cameroon should cease from doing that.
Yes, he said he was no longer going to talk to any group that instigates violence. He was talking after the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation held its international webinar, and it was very fruitful. So he said, well, any group that talks about violence, that preaches violence, I will not talk to them.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that he has. Is that not what the president is saying?
Excuse me, that's not what he's saying. Because when the president says that those countries should collaborate and have them arrested, it means that you cannot arrest somebody if he has committed no offense. For them to be arrested, they have to be styled terrorists. If they are terrorists, then they will be arrested. But if they are not terrorists, on what ground are you going to arrest them? Are you going to arrest them simply because they are funding an independence movement? Let me tell you, Mr. Liu, there was some survey that just came up on social media. The first 20 independence movement in the world. I don't know whether the president saw it. Southern Cameroon inside. It's inside in prominent position. So he cannot be seeing those sort of things and keep saying that it is armed groups. No, sir. Tell the people the truth. It is an armed conflict that has gone beyond small groups. Let me know those side people again before they can start telling me that I am supporting armed groups. We need to know the truth. It is not a matter of armed groups. It's a full-blown civil war. It's a full-blown. We all saw, Mr. Dio, we all saw on the 1st of October how these people celebrated their independence. That you cannot talk of armed groups. We saw it. And on that day, you saw how every town, at times in every village, how they all came out to celebrate their independence. Then you say it is armed groups. No, the speech is so out of place.
Independence?
Well, the images are still there on social media.
Village?
At times village, yes. I counted more than 60 videos that I saw. Yes. I saw. We even saw community schools. If you do not see, tell me. I will give some to you. There were community schools that have been created, although we say there's no education, but schools are open.
Where? Because I would like to find out.
I will give you.
Okay, but the president went further to say Cameroon's democracy is on a good footing. Eh?
Well, for somebody who wants to be remembered as the person who brought democracy to Cameroon, I think he should review his lessons, because democracy on a good footing with that, what he has as an electoral code, sir, there is no democracy. Democracy on a good footing when his party is everywhere. His party is everywhere with satellite parties. No, sir, that's not democracy. He should revise his lessons. If he wants to be remembered truly as a man who brought democracy, then let him put in place genuine democracy.
What is the problem with his party being everywhere?
It is akin to one party state. Because when you look at his party and allies in power, then you say there's democracy. It is one party that is in place.
What stops your party from being everywhere?
Who tells you that my party is not everywhere? We have not gone in for elections. We are everywhere. On other occasions, you have seen, we have proven to you that we're everywhere.
So you're like the CPDM. You're also everywhere.
No, sir. Covering the national territory doesn't mean that you're everywhere. I mean everywhere in the Senate, in the Parliament, they have majority everywhere. Absolute majority everywhere.
Is that not democracy?
Well, government for the people, but okay, he talks of successful elections that have just taken place. When you organize regional election, then there is the central committee that proposes or that appoints the people who are going to be elected. Is that democracy?
It's investiture.
Can you talk of elections when the people who are elected are appointed by the central committee of the party?
Ok. Alex Ngepi, le président de la République, a demandé que la démocratie se fait par les unes et non par des gens qui veulent prendre, je sais pas, qui veulent faire usage ou l'avantage de l'existence du Covid-19, Covid-19 pour faire l'insurrection. C'est vous que le président visait, non?
Le président de la République vise le peuple camerounais, l'esprit libre. Les peuples camerounais qui veulent l'indépendance réelle du Cameroun, ils visent les peuples camerounais, la jeunesse camerounaise qui a soif de changement. Ils visent ceux-là qui ont soif d'une véritable démocratie, pas d'une démocratie fabriquée. Je vais rappeler que M. Biya-Paul, quand il ose parler de démocratie, là, le droit, en tant que citoyen, on ne va pas le conseiller, on le lui concède. Mais cependant, quand on est un dictateur comme M. Biya-Paul et qu'on vient donner des leçons de morale aux jeunes Camerounais que nous sommes pour parler de démocratie, lorsque les Camerounais sont en chômage, lorsque les Camerounais n'arrivent même pas à manger, lorsque les Camerounais n'arrivent même pas à se vêtir, les Camerounais n'arrivent pas à se soigner, lorsque la Covid-19 est arrivée, qu'on n'a reçu aucune aide du gouvernement camerounais et qu'il parle de démocratie, la démocratie rime aussi avec la bonne gouvernance. Je vais rappeler quelque chose qui est important. La démocratie n'est pas qu'un vain mot qu'on prononce comme l'a fait M. Biya-Paul. Non. La démocratie, c'est aussi la liberté d'expression. La démocratie, ce n'est pas le libertinage administratif. La démocratie, ce n'est pas une justice aux ordres. Vous savez, quand M. Biya-Paul parle de démocratie, est-ce que vous savez, M. Léonard, qu'il y a des gens qui ont été arrêtés le 21, la nuit du 21, avant même qui n'a eu à manifester et que ces personnes ont été conduites au tribunal militaire. Est-ce que vous savez, quand M. Biya-Paul parle de démocratie, qu'il y a un certain Franck Zali qui a été interpellé, pas le 19, même pas chez lui, au cours d'un contrôle de police, mais simplement parce que la commissaire Isabelle Fouda, avait son nom, sa plaque d'immatriculation. On l'a arrêté au cours d'un contrôle de police de routine. On l'a interpellé et ce monsieur a été torturé au CED. Ce monsieur a été traduit au tribunal militaire. C'est pour dire quoi? La démocratie, c'est le respect des lois en vigueur au Cameroun. Dans une démocratie, on ne permet pas aux individus, aux civils, d'être traduits auprès du tribunal militaire à cause de leur expression, à cause de leur pensée. La démocratie voudrait que lorsqu'Alès Guépi et Salomon Bias décident de manifester à Douala pour la marche du 22 et qu'on parle des coups, sur ce coup, on arrêta M. Salomon Bias qui est un ami personnel et qu'on décide aussi de ne pas arrêter ceux qui ont manifesté à Ebolova le même jour pour les mêmes motifs parce qu'ils soutenaient Paul Biya et qu'on parle de démocratie. Non, la démocratie c'est le respect des libertés. La démocratie c'est que les Camerounais sont égaux devant la justice. La démocratie ne devrait pas dire que si mon ami du LPC qui est sur ce plateau dit que Paul Biya est un dieu, alors on lui concède. Ça laisse Guépé dire que Paul Biya n'est pas un dieu, on l'arrête. Non. La démocratie, M. Léo, c'est que vous et moi, nous parlons. La démocratie, c'est un contrat social qui lie les populations entre eux. M. Biya-Paul, je vais le dire, je l'interdis à l'Alès Guépé de parler de démocratie, car c'est un dictateur. M. Biya-Paul ne manquerait plus qu'on quitte du système dictatorial qui nous a habitués pour tomber dans le système totalitaire.
Ça, c'est la dictature aussi, non?
Non.
Vous l'interdisez?
Je devrais l'interdire parce qu'un dictateur, vous savez, n'a pas à parler de démocratie. Non, un dictateur, parce que M. Biya-Paul, non, de parler de démocratie, parce qu'un dictateur ne peut pas parler de démocratie. Quand on est dictateur, vous savez, M. Biya-Paul aujourd'hui est en train de nous amener vers un système totalitaire où il voudrait dire comment on doit penser. Il voudrait dire aux Camerounais comment on doit penser, ce qu'on doit dire, ce qu'on ne devrait pas dire. Non, soyons un peu sérieux. Hein. Les Camerounais ont compris. Et j'ai honte ce soir, je vous le dis, je vous le répète.
Vous avez honte?
J'ai honte ce soir d'être Camerounais, de voir ce vieillard-là être mon président. Ce vieillard-là, qu'on dit qu'il est mon président d'Alès Guépi, celui-là qui ne peut même pas tenir un discours. Quand vous voyez cet homme parler, pitié, pitié, laissez-le aller se reposer. Laissez ce monsieur être de la bibliothèque dont on a besoin.
C'est ça la réalité. Je suis sûr que les militants du RDPC sont fiers.
Ils sont fiers, vous savez, la perversion de la démocratie, c'est quoi? C'est que M. Biya-Paul a réussi à pervertir certains jeunes Camerounais qui sont à pied comme Alès Guépi, qui n'arrivent même pas à se vêtir, qui n'arrivent même pas à manger. Alès Guépi est même un bailleur, il peut manger, il a construit, mais eux, ils n'arrivent même pas à se vêtir et qui disent que Paul Biya est un bon président. C'est aussi ça la démocratie. Et puisque je suis un démocrate, je suis un libéral, je le conseille, je l'accepte, mais cependant, eux, ils refusent de croire que Alès Guépi peut être un démocrate en épousant pas les idées de Paul Biya. Monsieur Léo, la démocratie c'est quoi? C'est quoi? C'est la liberté d'expression. Ce n'est pas seulement le fait de bavarder dans les chaînes de télé et radio. Parce qu'on pense au Cameroun que la liberté d'expression, c'est de venir parler sur ces plateaux de télévision et de radio. Non, la démocratie voudrait que, monsieur Léo, si je manifeste pour quelque chose, tant que je n'ai pas fait une casse, tant que je n'ai pas violé les lois et règlements du Cameroun, je ne peux pas être arrêté. Ça ne voudrait pas dire qu'un règlement qui devrait obéir à la loi, qu'un préfet, un sous-préfet vient interdire ma manifestation alors qu'il n'a même pas le pouvoir. Parce que la loi de 90 ne n'autorise pas à interdire. La loi de 90 demande qu'il peut me conduire vers une autre destination pour manifester. Okay. Mais lorsqu'il interdit, et lorsque je manifeste, il m'arrête, et il a aussi interdit pour le RDPC, et que le RDPC manifeste, on ne les arrête pas, on les laisse, on les applaudit. Non. La démocratie voudrait quoi? Que l'administration ne s'affiche pas être pro du pouvoir. C'est-à-dire, on a vu au Grand Nord, on a un sous-préfet, un préfet qui a carrément porté les habits du RDPC pour battre campagne. La démocratie voudrait que l'administration soit neutre et indépendante.
Kedia, you had some points to raise which you felt has been ignored by panelists.
Yes, by panelists here, but I would like to chip a little bit on what my co-panelists here, they said, sorry, Mr. Ngepi, you made a mistake. Germany annexed Cameroon and Britain and France supervised them under the trusteeship and the mandate. Maybe you made an error. I'll come back now to talk about the aspect of, which Senior Barrister brought that when the president said that they are terrorists and Senior Barrister said they are not terrorists. If someone in that countries in Europe should collaborate and bring this guy back, we should be honest. If somebody is in the diaspora and asks people to go into schools and cut the fingers of children that are to go to school is their fundamental human right, and he asks that the fingers of these children should be chopped off. The videos are there, we've seen it. Is that not an act of terrorism? You may have your right to say you want federalism, you may say you want separation, you may say what you want. But when you say the hands of children in primary school should be chopped off, is that not an act of terrorism? If it was your child or anybody that will come and say they are not terrorists, if it was your child in primary school that the hand was chopped off, will you sit in the media and say that person is not a terrorist? We should be honest when we are saying things. People are watching. Hands of children, tiny of them, that they are ignorant, they don't even know what is happening, their fingers are being chopped off, and we say those are not acts of terrorism. We should support them. We should support them. When they'll kill all of us, you start to blame the central government when those are statements that we are supposed to condemn and call them terrorists. I will go further to talk about democracy in Cameroon. The National Assembly of Cameroon is having more than 6 political parties. We have a multicolored House of Assembly. Same with the Senate. Even the regional election, sorry, you will not say CPDM is everywhere because Adamawa is not being controlled by the CPDM. When the President of the Republic, President Paul Biya, came to power, we had a single party system. We know how everything was being worked. But today, he is there. We have multi-partyism. All institutions. When we talk about democracy, we are talking about institutions. All the institutions are there. The Senate, the Parliament is there. The regional assembly are there, and everything is there. That is democracy. And if you would like to go to the other aspect of expression, that is what we are just doing here. However, our democracy is still young. We are maybe less than 50 years in democracy. We will not compare like America and Europe. We will expect our democracy to grow, and we will have to work hand in glove to ensure that our democracy grows. That is what is there, and we should be honest when we are analyzing. However, let me forget about those side comments. Let me come back to the speech of the head of state, the President of the Republic. He went further to say that everything is in control. All the stadiums have been created. We'll be hosting the ShanCom 2021 and the African Cup of Nations 2022. We've seen all the stadiums that have been constructed. We've seen the hotels that have been arranged for players to come there. It is a positive. win. However, many people criticized that there was a shift in the date, but unfortunately everything was fortunately everything has been arranged and will be hosting the AFCON. It is a positive appraisal that we should at least appreciate the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education to ensure that we are hosting this jamboree. I will go further. The head of state made in his project, future project, with regards to the emergence of Cameroon in 2035. He said that Cameroon will pay more attention on the health, education, and employment of the youth, so that we can boost our economy and emerge in 2025. We should understand that for a country to emerge, the first and the very first aspect is the health of the people. If the people are not on a good health, then the economy cannot emerge, the political and the social life of the people cannot emerge. So the health of the people is most important. That is why we have diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, HIV, and the rest. Even those with a lungs problem that is being treated free by the government, to ensure that the health of the people are being protected so that we can emerge. We went further when he talked about employment. Yes, it's an end of year speech. He cannot go detailedly to talk about employment, but we know that certain contracts that we had with France has come to an end, and that's why we see projects like the last company he created, who has to do with exploitation of minerals. When such companies have been created to exploit our minerals, we are talking about gold, diamonds, and oil. When they are being created, of course, employment will definitely take place. Employment will definitely take place, and that is the most important. And at the level of education,
such companies will require a lot of energy now, especially the mining.
Of course, it is divergent. Like we'll talk about economy, we'll talk about road, we'll talk about energy, we'll talk about employment, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about mining requires a lot of energy.
Of course, it requires a lot of energy. These dams have been created, and means are in place. Sorry, these dams have been created, they are active. Now they are putting projects to transport energies, because many people did not understand that creating dams is one project that is being done by government. Transporting energies is another issue. So we should be honest when we are saying these things. These dams have been created to have been constructed to create energy. The energies are there, and now we are going to the second phase, who has to do with transporting the energy, which has been a major problem, where even in Cameroon you hear that this number of kilowatt is being produced in Cameroon, but with the cost of transportation, this amount is being lost.
How soon is this coming?
Pardon?
How soon is this going to happen?
That's what I'm saying.
10 years.
No. For them to be constructed, it didn't take up to 10 years. So why should you think transporting them, which is the least of them, will take up to 10 years? We should have good faith. So these are the things that will be constructed, and employment will definitely take place. I'll go to the next aspect, which has to do with education, which is most important, which I earlier on said it. At the level of education, we are in a technological world now, which we know that one of the clauses said that Cameroon should invest in general education and not technical education. But the head of state has come out to say we are investing on education, and I believe it will be at the technical aspect where technology will be taught to the people, and the people will be able to participate.
Is that what the president said?
Now, when a president is investing in mining, if the president is investing in mining, exploitation of raw material, it requires technology. So it means that if he's investing in education and he's investing in mining, automatically it goes with technical education and the exploitation of these resources. We should be honest and we say things the way they are. So we should know that the head of state had the youth at heart, and that's why he's paying attention on employment. He knows that the health of Cameroonians is very important. That's why he paid attention on the health of Cameroonian. And most importantly, he also cited and talked about employment which the youth are suffering, which I believe that he has the youth at heart. Then he went further now to talk about political party that thought they could take advantage to get power through the streets, but Cameroonians are very resilient, educated, and exposed, and they know the democratic process to gain power, and they know that it is not in the street,
That is why they did not go outside. Senior barrister here has a political party, but he says that the CPDM is there, growing. The CPDM is there, and they're having satellite parties. I don't know if he has any proof to give to us if his party also is not one of the satellite parties, because now we now call all parties satellite party. Now, how do you analyze which is satellite and which is not? And does he have any proof if his party is not one or the other? Very soon, some of them will say Cameroon Renaissance Movement is a satellite party. Anyway, that is freedom of speech, which we are enjoying thanks to the head of state, President Biya.
Senior barrister, the President of the Republic talked about the major national dialogue, which gave birth to the regional elections. Now we have regional councils, and he also talked about the special status, to say that the major national dialogue to some extent gave birth to some positive points here.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Before I come to that question, let me just take some aspects of what I heard here. I think CPDM people should be ashamed of themselves. They should really be ashamed. Whenever we talk of help, in fact, these people should hide their heads under the table. When Akono Jean-Paul fell sick, where was he treated? Abroad. Let us go to the Kondengi prison. Enoni Ephraim fell sick. Where is he being treated? In Morocco. If Michel Fosso.
No, it's if Michel is in Morocco, Enoni was taken to Europe.
To Europe. Thank you. No, I'm giving you the case of people who have all been flown out of the country. The Senate president fell sick. Where was he being treated? In France now. So that your own health policy, that you are praising your president of putting emphasis on health, where everybody, excuse me, please, excuse me, which democracy?
Express yourself, freedom of speech.
You are talking about health when you cannot even treat prostate in Cameroon. You can't even treat prostate in Cameroon. I say prostate. You can't. Look at our bâtonnier was sick here. They were carrying him to France. He went and died. If your health policy were that good, would our people be dying?
He's talking about investing in health, education, and employment.
No, keep your peace.
No, when you were talking, nobody.
Keep your peace. Keep your peace. You say you are investing in health, yet every minister who falls sick is ferried out of the country. Every elite who falls sick is ferried out of the country. After 16 years, don't you think that Cameroon is ripe enough to handle all the health cases here? Why should everybody be carried out? You people chop all the monies. There is nothing to build the hospitals that can treat people. What we have here are no better than first aid clinics. If they are not, show me which major disease. If not for the Catholics who put the heart center up there, Mameda, in the Shison. Can Cameroon government pride itself of having a heart hospital? A hospital where they can cure the heart. What are you talking about? Look at AFCON coming. Do you have any specialized hospital for bone surgery and all those things that go with sports? Do you have? We should hide your faces under the table when you talk of health. There is nothing inside that nonsense. I keep telling you, tell me that number. You have outlived your usefulness. There are other people with better ideas. Pack your things and go. We are tired. You don't want to hear. You keep telling us that things are fine. Fine where? Nothing is fine. Okay, let me come back now to your question. Major national dialogue. He was not here the day we were talking about this regional elections. Decentralization. He wasn't here. That's why he can be running his mouth. The major national dialogue, their major discovery, as they put it, is the special status. What is inside the special status? Special municipal status. You go carry a senate and transform it into a municipal assembly, and you are clapping for yourself that you have done what? And you want the world to remember you that you have brought democracy. The other day, the Minister of Justice was answering lawyers before Parliament. He said clearly he is not a member of the judiciary. These are people who are talking about democracy. With a state that has 2 organs out of 3, I'm quoting a Minister of Justice who said before Parliament that he is not a member of the judiciary, and he is right. He is a member of the government. In this country, the government has taken the judiciary and put under the executive. There is no judiciary. It's an arm of, you see, they talk of judicial authority, not judicial organ. And that is a democracy that you are putting in place. Master, do quickly and leave the place. Because a state cannot exist with 2 organs instead of 3. That is a dictatorship. Like Mr. Nepi was saying, it's a dictatorship. If other organs swallow up others, it is a dictatorship. And that is just what we are living, where the judiciary has been put under the boots of the Minister of Justice. So please, your major national dialogue came, it was a major come together, come and chop and forget our problems.
But there's putting in place of a regional assembly in the northwest and southwest region.
That is something that
comprising two houses.
It is not national dialogue that brought that thing. It is inside the constitution.
Yeah, but the issue of the special status was raised during the major national dialogue.
That one too is inside the constitution.
Yeah, but it was activated there. Are you making
in the constitution?
Are you making
special status is in the constitution? That national dialogue, I say it is an assembly to come and chop and forget your problems. There was nothing positive that came out of it.
Yeah, but
if special status is inside the constitution, it is not something new.
Yeah, but today we have 2 regional assemblies in the southwest and northwest region, House of Divisional Representatives and the House of Chiefs.
Do other regions not have that?
No, they don't have.
Their chiefs also meet inside their regional houses.
Yeah, but there's no bicameral setup.
Bicameral municipal assembly. It has no use, sir. Why the other people would meet as a house within their municipalities? This one meet in 2 houses. What is the advantage? Because they have a special conciliator. What is the advantage? There's nothing there. Can they pass laws? Okay, special status. Do they have the power to enact? Can they enact a single law? Can they enact even a regulation? Can they? They only have municipal powers. That is where the whole thing lies. Yeah, so if you give all the pompous names you want, let us look at the powers of those houses. That is where the whole thing lies. Yeah, but what are they capable of doing?
But the President of the Republic is telling you people to use the ballot box so that you can take part and change things to move the way you want.
The President of the Republic has nothing. He has no lessons to give us in politics because he is the President of a political party. He talks for his party. We talk for us.
No, the
institutions that are in place, we have the right and the duty. We have the duty as politicians to criticize them and show what is wrong and indicate the way forward. That is our duty. So he has no lesson to give me. I am saying that special status is special nonsense because there is nothing inside. These are houses that have no powers. They cannot enact a single regulation. They have the same powers as the other municipal assemblies. So there is nothing special about them.
Yeah, but they will tell you that it's a step of 1,000. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
Thank you. The journey of 1,000 miles
begins with a step.
These are houses that were senates. That was a senate. A senate, you bring it back as a municipal assembly, and it's a first step on the journey of 1,000 miles. Master, who are they fooling? Last time here I said, look, these people were telling us that the reason why they scrapped federalism was because it was too expensive. Look at what this decentralization is bringing. Is it not 5 times more expensive than the federation? 5 times. Governor has his rival who is the president, the regional president. The mayor has his rival who is the divisional officer. And like that in every division, in every subdivision. How many are there in the country? In every region, 10. Wow. Then all the ministers have external services with their delegations. Wonderful. Who are you fooling? Look, you people have failed. Just pack your things. There's no way you can convince any person. You cannot remove what is good, what is cheap, and bring what is over expensive. I want to convince all that.
Are you saying that by no means the President of the Republic met any of your aspirations?
Well, I said earlier that he was going to, I expected him to talk about the East, the problems in the East, and he talked about them. This time around, he didn't venture into energy, because that was another Waterloo. You see, all the dams that he has, where they are buried billions, close to 2,000 billions inside dams. Nothing is working. Not even the one in the north that has been filled with sand. They cannot remove the sand. Whereas we have Menchum Fall that only requires them to come and divert the river, put the turbine, and you have enough electricity to supply the entire country and even export some. Where is whoever cares about that one? Nobody. This is why he's talking about transporting energy. Sorry, there is a company that has been created by your party government.
Called Sonatrel.
They are the ones in charge of transporting energy. We are no longer complaining about the transportation. The problem now is the production, because where you are burying money to produce the energy, nothing is coming out. What is the energy?
I'm not sure that's a problem, senior barrister. Oui, Alex. Qu'est-ce qui a manqué dans l'adresse du président de la République ce soir?
Oui.
Qu'est-ce qui n'a pas touché?
Oui, beaucoup de choses. D'ailleurs, je vais avoir retiré quelque chose que mon frère du RDPC a dit tout à l'heure, en faisant comprendre que le Cameroun n'a pas été colonisé. Je dis le Cameroun n'a pas été colonisé. Hein, il faut nous avons nos enfants qui nous suivent. Hein, et s'ils oublient l'histoire, s'il vous plaît, si tu oublies l'histoire, retourne dans tes livres d'histoire. Je pense qu'en 84, le Cameroun a été placé sous mandat, quelque chose comme ça. Hein, c'était ça. Et en 2016, le 4 avril 2016, le Cameroun a été placé sous condominium anglais. Et en 1996, le Cameroun a été placé sous condominium franco-anglais. Et en 2019, en 1918-19, le Cameroun a été placé sous protectorat. C'est ça l'histoire du Cameroun. Hein? C'est ça l'histoire. L'Allemand n'a pas, s'il te plaît, quand on est en train d'éduquer nos enfants, l'expression colonisation n'est pas dans le vocabulaire.
Oui, mais puisque nous sommes là pour édifier, mais qu'est-ce que l'Allemagne a fait au Cameroun?
Non, ce n'était pas la colonisation. Aucun livre d'histoire, les gens, c'est-à-dire que c'était pas le protecteur. Oui, il y a eu ça, ce n'était pas la colonisation. C'était un accord.
Qu'est-ce que l'Allemagne faisait?
Non. Je dis, nous sommes pour éduquer. Hein? Le Cameroun n'a jamais été colonisé par l'Allemagne. Les professeurs d'histoire sont là, l'histoire est là, elle est claire et nette. Donc quand mon frère le dit, il veut...
Protectorate under who?
Je dis, ça n'a pas été... Ça n'est pas la colonisation. Même quand, par exemple, il avait dit, les historiens s'étaient levés, avait dit que c'était une erreur.
Ok, oui, on n'a pas le temps. Allez-y.
Qu'est-ce qu'il n'a pas dit ce soir? Sa démission. Il aurait pu démissionner pour la crise anglophone. Voilà ce qu'il n'a pas dit. On se serait attendu que M. Biya dise qu'il démissionne, puisqu'il a usurpé le titre présidentiel. On sait très bien que la fonction qu'il est, il ne mérite pas, il assume une fonction qui n'est pas pour lui, il assume une fonction qu'il a usurpée, il n'a pas gagné l'élection de 2018. Donc nous aurions aimé qu'il démissionne, afin de résoudre la crise anglophone. Parce qu'il faut qu'on se dise, hein. J'ai été surpris de voir l'insulte qu'il fait quand il fait le déni de ne pas reconnaître la crise anglophone, quand il fait le déni de ne pas reconnaître qu'il y a eu des gens qui sont en train de vouloir la sécession du Cameroun et qui les traitent des bandits. Ce n'est pas ainsi qu'on va résoudre cette crise anglophone-là. Pour résoudre cette crise anglophone, il faut qu'on reconnaisse qu'il y a des Camerounais qui parlent de sécession. Et la plupart sont en train de parler de fédéralisme et quelques minorités parlent de fédéralisme et de confédération. Et quelques minorités sont en train de parler de l'État unité décentralisé que lui représente. Il représente une minorité des Camerounais qui parlent de l'État unité décentralisé. C'est ça, c'est la réalité. Donc, si M. Biya vient aujourd'hui dire que les Camerounais, c'est un Camerounais pas palestiniste, alors il n'a qu'à libérer Ayoutabe. Il n'a rien fait en prison. Il se contredit. L'âge qu'il a là, il dit des choses qu'après il oublie. Il ne peut pas dire qu'il n'y a pas de sionistes, ce sont les bandits. Et il y a Ayoutabe qui est parti arrêter au Nigeria. Qu'est-ce qu'on peut attendre un bandit au Nigeria? Non. Mais il est allé à Ayoutabe parce qu'ils étaient sionistes. Ils ont dit qu'on ne discute pas avec les gens qui veulent séparer le Cameroun.
C'est ce que vous regrettez qu'il n'a pas dit.
Non, ce que je...
C'est ça ma question.
Moi, je dis que dans son discours, il aurait dû démissionner. Parce que dans son discours, il est en train d'accentuer la crise anglophone que de la résoudre. C'est-à-dire, le grand dialogue national qu'il a organisé, qu'il a voulu s'en vanter, il a voulu se vanter des élections régionales qui ont eu lieu en 2020. Il a dit que le président de la République a été élu en 2018, parlant de lui, en 2018. Mais quelqu'un qui a eu 71% en 2018 et qui a peur des manifestations des petits partis politiques. Mais on ne comprend pas. Si vous avez 71% des Camerounais, et que le MRCV veut manifester, et vous les empêchez, vous prenez les forces répressives, vous les arrêtez, vous les incarcérez. Il y a 137 MRCistes en prison, dans lesquels 111 sont traduits au tribunal militaire pour la marche du 22. Et cette marche du 22 là, dont M. Biapo dit avoir 71% des Camerounais, au moins 50 personnes parmi eux n'ont même pas manifesté, ont été arrêtés avant le 22. Donc, si M. Biapo voulait surprendre les Camerounais, il aurait pu annoncer sa démission et dire que voilà, il va organiser avant sa démission un véritable dialogue national au terme duquel il va se retirer et qu'il y aura un gouvernement de transition nationale et des élections anticipées et que ce dialogue national-là va permettre de mettre sur pied un collectoire consensuel et que les Camerounais vont s'asseoir, les francophones et les anglophones vont chercher à résoudre la crise anglophone. Nous aurons aimé attendre cela. Ce qui dérange même ce qu'il a dit, il a parlé de 8% taux de croissance du Cameroun. Même la Chine n'a pas 8%. Non, il n'a pas parlé de... Non. Qui souhaiterait avoir 8%.
Il a parlé de 4%. Même quand le Cameroun vise.
Il a dit...
Le Cameroun visait 8%.
Oui, visait 8%. Donc il souhaite qu'on soit 8% en réduisant les dépenses de l'État. Est-ce qu'il a dit?
On produit quoi?
Est-ce qu'il suffit seulement de réduire, mais 4%, mais quand il vise 8%, en réduisant les dépenses de l'État? Mais il n'a pas parlé de création de nouvelles richesses. Parce qu'en fait, l'État camerounais tire ses ressources sur le pétrole et sur les taxes et impôts, c'est tout. Mais pour que l'État puisse atteindre 8%, il faudrait créer de nouvelles richesses. Il faudrait être déjà un pays émergent ou en voie d'émergence, mais ce n'est pas le cas du Cameroun. Il faille que l'autoroute de Yaoundé, qui se construit en 8 ans, puisse être construit en 1 an. En 1 an, 1 an et demi, pour qu'on puisse atteindre 8%. Il faudrait que le bar de Mevele, qui se trouve à Man, dans la population de Man eux-mêmes, comme la Mevele, c'est dans la vallée du Thème. À Man, il n'y a pas le courant, c'est le groupe, mais Mevele est là. Vous savez ça? Man, l'ensemble de Man, n'a pas le groupe, mais Mevele est là. Il n'y a pas de lumière. C'est le groupe qui alimente Man. Et ça vient que la nuit. Pour ce préfet de Man. À Ambam, où Mbele se trouve, Mbele est avant du thème. À Ambam, il n'y a pas la lumière. Alors que je vous parle, à 2 h du matin, il n'y a pas le courant à Ambam. Mais comme ce 31, peut-être ils vont faire l'exception d'alimenter le groupe. Sinon, jusqu'à 2 h, et vous dites à 4 h en Ambam, il n'y a pas le courant. Si vous doutez, appelez quelqu'un en Ambam à 4 h. Vous du RDPC qui parlait que le président public a dit là. Pourtant, Mbele est d'avoir du thème. À quoi tu vas pas? Actuellement, alors je parle que s'il n'y a pas d'électricité. À que aussi les particuliers ont les groupes électrogènes. Pourtant, Mbele est d'avoir du thème. Making se trouve pas loin de là. Il n'y a pas de courant. Mais vous êtes en train de vendre au Cameroun des femmes blancs. Vous venez raconter l'histoire camerounais, on a fait ça, et quelqu'un sort 8%, quelqu'un écrit un discours en disant que l'on peut atteindre 8% si on maîtrise vraiment les dépenses de l'État. Il ne suffit pas seulement de maîtriser les dépenses de l'État. On peut maîtriser les dépenses de l'État, mais il faut aussi lutter contre la corruption. Il faut lutter contre la corruption et efficacement lutter. Il faut créer de nouvelles richesses. Et pour créer de nouvelles richesses, il faut passer à un plan d'industrialisation du Cameroun. Il faut que le Cameroun s'industrialise. Pour que le Cameroun s'industrialise, il faut un Cameroun énergétique. Il faut construire des barrages hydroélectriques. Il faut construire, diversifier comment nos ressources énergétiques, des centrales éoliennes.
Okay,
I
want to clarify on what you said earlier. You said, thus a decision was taken to finalize. Okay, no. Despite these efforts, it is expected that our growth rate, which had stabilized at around 4% in the recent years, will witness a sharp decline in 2020.
Oui,
Oui.
Donc, plutôt, ça
Il a parlé de
va se
4%.
Oui, 4%. Mais il parle de 8% qu'il a dit, la suite, qu'en maîtrisant les dépenses de l'État, on pourrait atteindre 8%. C'est ce qu'il a dit. Lisez la suite, son discours. Mais il n'a pas les 4% qui est. Mais la réalité, c'est quoi? Il y a un document qui est sorti pour le Cameroun. Le Cameroun n'est même pas 4%. Vous savez ce que signifie 4% de taux de croissance? Vous savez ce qui dérange au Cameroun?
Il dit que c'était de 4%, mais cette année 2020, ça ne va pas arriver parce qu'il y a le crise Covid, tout le monde connaît. Ne dis pas une autre chose, monsieur.
Permettez-moi, s'il vous plaît, permettez-moi. Je vous dis, vous savez ce que signifie 4%. Parce que même en 2019, là, je suppose qu'en 2019, on est à 4%. Mais 2019, on n'est pas à 4%. Vous savez ce que signifie 4%? 4% d'une croissance dans un État. Déjà, il faut la croissance à 2 chiffres. Quand on dit 4%, ça veut dire qu'il faut la prendre à 2 chiffres. C'est ce qu'il nous dit. J'ai l'impression qu'au Cameroun, il suffit qu'un homme politique, encore plus un président plus de fête, vous donne un chiffre, et vous dites non, au Cameroun, plus 100 000 francs. Le benzineur gagne 500 000 francs par mois. Pourquoi il a parlé, c'est la vérité.
The President of the Republic in previous years have called on Cameroonians, especially the young people, to embrace agriculture. He did not talk about that today. He has also insisted very much on youth employment. Today he spoke just in passing. Is it to say that these are no longer priorities for Cameroon?
You see, it's a presidential speech that ended for about 20 minutes. And the president cannot say everything within that speech. It is impossible. Everybody with good faith knows that. And the things he spoke about, of course, are the most important thing. If anybody says that what he said about are not important, then the person is just being irresponsible. Because we know what COVID is doing in the world. And I believe that all presidents in the world talking today will definitely talk about COVID-19 in their country. Secondly, we know that we know that another most important problem that we have in Cameroon has to do with the crisis going on in the northwest and southwest region, which he talked about. Thirdly, he also talked about what is happening in the east region and the extreme north Boko Haram, that our military men are falling, our civilians are dying, which is very most important. So when you make a scale of preference, you realize that he's talked about the most important one and he was passive with the other. You cannot have a speech of 20 minutes and you talk about everything that a country is going through. It's impossible. So we should be honest when we see the president talking. He talked about democracy. Democracy is very important. So he talked about the essential issue, which I believe that Cameroonians should take it with good faith and see how we can work together to see that our country should emerge. We should not follow fake politicians that will come and tell us something else. Thank you very much, Mr. Kumlena, that you finally went and read the speech of the president, because we were already misled that the president talked about 8%, but thank God that you read it and corrected that he said about 4%, which we may have problem getting there because of the presence of situation with COVID-19. Thank you for correcting that. That is how politicians go to TV stations and lie to you, dear Cameroonians. Coming back to talk about democracy, at times when I'm on platform with Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, which I respect so much, I call him father, but at times on the platform, I don't know if he's talking like a lawyer or if he's talking as a politician, because as a politician there are certain things that I will understand, but as a lawyer there are things that I get confused. The Minister of Justice is not a member of the judicial arm of government. The judicial arm of government have its highest institution, which is the Constitutional Council, and the head of that arm of government is the head of the Judicial Council, which is Kmer. So those are the structure, and that is how it functions. So the minister is right from my own perspective, but I would not like to discuss with him. He's a lawyer, what he knows, maybe a senior one at that. So, but I would just like to say that I'm not clear with such aspect.
Let the president release all those detained in connection with the Anglophone crisis, call for a ceasefire, grant amnesty to those in exile, and then resign. Okay, Happy New Year to you all. I'm Celestine Wanyun Safon, writing from Yaoundé. The president equally forgot to talk about the bad roads and a series of accidents that has left many persons dead. The president forgot to mention the bad state of roads, which has led to many accidents resulting to the deaths and casualty. Was it also necessary for the president to even mention what happened along the Douala Bafoussam, Dikini, Yaoundé Bafoussam, and Dikinimeki?
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Liu. You see, these are two things I want to touch. One, the agriculture that this man was trying to flout. Number two, how can a nation lose 50 people in an accident and the head of state doesn't talk about it? Mr. CPDM, 50 dead. He could not even say, my condolences to the bereaved families. And you say, it touches only important things. So the dead, 50 dead are not important. He talked about growth rate. For there to be growth rates, we have to look at GDP. In Cameroon, what do we produce? Petrol and agriculture. Everything else is imported, even agricultural products. We import even red oil from Gabon. So how can you dare talk about growth rate when about 60% or 70% of your economy is based on importation? What do you produce? It's produce nothing. Even the timber, they even have the effrontery of exporting timber in logs. This is the second time I hear them saying, oh, we are going to ban the importation of logs, the exportation of logs. You don't produce anything. You carry everything and give wholesale to foreigners. You produce nothing. Whereas we used to be a cocoa producing company, a producing country, a coffee producing company. Look, they scrap national produce marketing board with the stabilization for mechanism. It was scrapped. What is in place now is not even a mirror image. So look, you can't talk about growth rate without talking about agriculture, which is the thing that powers the growth rate. To you, education is more important than agriculture. You don't eat. If you don't eat, can you go to school?
But you need to be educated to work.
If you don't eat, can you go to school?
That's why in the university we have a faculty of agriculture.
If you don't,
you need to be educated to do agriculture.
Will you? If you don't eat, can you be alive?
Anyway.
Can you be alive if you don't eat? You see, look, agriculture is even more important than that education is talking, because you must eat
agriculture
to be alive. Oh,
master,
you have to eat to be alive. And if you are alive, you can go to school.
Are you saying our mothers and fathers who did not go to school, did not engage in agriculture?
Thank you.
Oh, come on. We are talking about agriculture. We are not talking about subsistence. We are talking about industrial agriculture in the last.
So, Mr. Leo.
Yeah, but since we are talking agriculture, the president talked about.
No, please, don't go yet. This man said something here which was very dangerous. He said two dangerous things here. The one, that I don't have proof that my party is not a satellite CPDM satellite party. No. Hey, you said so, and I want to correct you, because you know the satellite parties. There are parties that have signed alliances with CPDM. You know them, and you know I am not one of them. You know Reform Party is not part of your satellite parties. Don't you ever dare make that type of statement in public again. I am not the leader of any satellite party. You have not seen me in any of your meetings. If you have seen me in one, call me. Just mention the day and the place. Or you see me inside the office of any of your people, give the name. Senior. Prime Minister used to be my professor. I have never gone to his office to even say, "Good morning, sir." I don't wine and dine with CPD people. I am saying it. If you have the contrary, bring. So please, when you are saying those things, don't ever put me with your satellite. I am not there. Number two, you said. You talk about the judiciary having as his head Clement Atangana. I'm very sorry to disappoint you. The entire judiciary is under the privilege and under the tutorship of the Ministry of Justice. Who appoints at Clement Atangana? It's not the president.
That's how it is.
Inside Judicial Council. He appoints him inside higher Judicial Council. What are you talking about?
It's not even in America.
Oh. He appoints all magistrates inside higher Judicial Council. He punishes magistrates and transfers them. And look, even in America, does the American president transfer magistrates?
He appoints the head.
Does the American president transfer magistrates?
The head of the judicial department in America, there are 7 of them, and they are appointed by the president.
Now you don't
the same as in Cameroon, Kmer is appointed.
Mr. Kedia, can you tell the world that the American president transfers American magistrates?
At least you accept the appointment.
No,
do you accept the appointment first before
you talk about transfer? He appoints only magistrates of the Supreme Court of the federal.
That's the highest institution.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So all magistrates.
So probably appointing Kmer is correct.
Probably appoints all magistrates, whereas the American president appoints only the magistrates.
We are out of time. We are out of time. It's 10 o'clock. We have to end here. Alex Nguepi, nous sommes arrivés au terme de cette émission. Vous voulez souhaiter bonne année pour professeur Maurice Kamto, à madame, à tes enfants, aux militants du TMRC.
Oui, je tiens à souhaiter une bonne et heureuse année à tous les MRCistes, tous les combattants de la liberté, ceux-là qui sont injustement incarcérés dans les geôles de la dictature camerounaise. Une pensée très profonde, vraiment profonde, pour maman Asmo Thérèse, cette maman-là, qui est du Tchalobo, de Samilima. C'est une militante engagée. Elle se bat de ce côté-là pour la cause des femmes. C'est celle-là qui fait tout pour que le MRC et l'opposition puissent véritablement exister dans le Sud. Et aussi notre pensée pour Bobassi-Pierre, que le communal du MRC du côté du Tchalobo, de Samilima, celui-là qui a été enchaîné comme un esclave, hein. Il a passé plus de 2 semaines. Merci. Et bien sûr, une très bonne année, une bonne année à tous les Camerounais, à tous ceux-là qui pensent que le Cameroun doit changer. Je dis, l'avenir du Cameroun se trouve entre les mains du Cameroun et des Camerounais. Mais cet avenir-là devra se faire sans Paul Biya. Paul Biya devrait tout simplement appartenir à la
avec le MSC, bien sûr.
Non, le MSC, l'avenir, c'est avec les Camerounais, sans M. Biya Paul. M. Biya Paul doit entrer dans la poubelle de l'histoire, tout simplement.
You have New Year wishes to the President of the Republic, the Chairman?
Of course, the President of the Republic was today very strong and healthy when he was talking to Cameroonian, to my family, especially my little daughter at home, Miracle, and to all Cameroonians viewing us, to the family of, I'd like to express my greetings to the parliamentarian of my constituency, Jingu Musa. I would like to greet all members of the regional assembly that have been created in the northwest and the southwest region. I would like to greet the mayor of the Biya, and to all peace-loving Cameroonians that are watching us today. Some people could not make it, and we are making it. This year was a difficult one with COVID and the rest. We pray that 2021 should be the best, as I tell all of you, Happy New Year.
Okay. Also, I'm sure you have...
thank you. I want to express my deep condolence to the families of all those who lost loved ones in the Dikinimiki accident. And also to wish a happy and prosperous New Year to all Cameroonians first, to all those who are fighting for peace in this country, for all the militants of Reform Party, militants and sympathizers of Reform Party, and to all the lawyers in Cameroon.
Okay, I also want to use this opportunity to wish a happy and prosperous New Year to you, Alex Nguepi, though you did not wish me. To you, to you too, to you too, Kedia, and also to you, Senior Barrister, and and also wonderful New Year to all our televiewers, and especially to all the panelists of Prime R. We equally want to say we are very grateful to the production team, Eli, Desmond, and to you, Christian, and Noel Bertrand at the broadcasting. We say we love everybody who is a fan of Prime R and My Media Prime in general. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.